Okay, I'm going to grab snack. I'll be right back. That's because the game isn't full screen yet. It'll be fine when it's full screen. Actually, I missed a lot of fun stuff. Since, like, this is once again your first time being in Donathon. Missed a good portion of Danganronpa since we did the trial. Investigations and trials. Yeah, so we need to... not knock everything down. Let me first actually get this in, full screen. And I can assure you that the game screen is now an appropriate size, correct? Yep, told you so. Okay, I need to go back to closed epigraph. I should probably just go to the quick loads, yeah. I don't know what this first save here is, though. The closed epigraph. Let's find out. It'd be convenient if it's nearby. Ah, it's the beginning of it, because this is his therapy session. Okay, never mind. I don't want to exit the game, I just want to not be here. Oh. Quick load is what I want. Yes, closed epigraph. Oof. We actually have all the quick... Oof. Okay, well, at least we're almost done. Let's see. That one is in November still. We need to go to December. So maybe the next page? Can I take a peek? I think these actually might be the saves that I want. One or the other, let's see. Okay, let me see what the other one is. If not, I'll go back to that save. There's another one too in the shrine. Call from Kurisu. Is this also other one? I think this might be the one that I need. I should really turn my smartphone off until I calm down a little. No. Genuinely no, we're not turning it off. It was fine just a moment ago. But not even hearing Kurisu's voice was enough to send me into a panic. I go back to how I was half a year ago. Back then, even hearing Kurisu's name was enough to make me dizzy. I shouldn't have messed with this. I shouldn't have tried to chase Kurisu's shadow. For now, I should just turn off the smartphone. But in the end, I couldn't make that decision. I didn't realize I actually actively made the decision to turn off the smartphone last time. But I guess I did, because I just did nothing this time, which is what I was supposed to do to get these other ones, so... I gulped down an entire bottle of mineral water and caught my breath. There was still a little time before my meeting. I wanted to get some fresh air. Get some air up here and recover a little. I looked down over the scenery below the overpass. The city was in the Christmas spirit. The atmosphere was charged with excitement. It was the exact opposite of me, I can read. I took more deep breaths. I still felt like I was... I'll try this again. I still felt like I wanted to throw up. I was getting a headache too. If I went to Dr. Luxnen like this, I'm sure I'd worry him. Question mark. And then I realized that the two girls coming up the stairs were looking at me. I peered into the late afternoon darkness to try to make out their faces. One of them, the girl with the short haircut, waved, and I didn't mean to right-click. I knew it. It's Okarin. Hi there. Oh, you're Mayuri's friends. They're Mayuri's friends and fellow cosplayers. I think their cosplay names were Kaede and Fubuki. I didn't know their real names. Which was Kaede and which was Fubuki again? Are you okay? You don't look so good. I am fine. If I made them worry here, and they talked to Mayuri, it would cause a big fuss. I didn't want her to worry about me when she didn't have to. I shouldn't have come back to Aki about it anyway. I'd run into people I knew just walking through town. I should have gone toward Kanda when I left the shrine. You always look like you're hurting somehow, Okarin. Do I? You do. Fubuki. When Mayushi looks at you, she looks like she's in pain too. And when I see her looking at you, I feel like I'm going to cry. Wait, what am I saying? Good question, Fubuki. This Fubuki girl must really care about Mayuri. I felt a little better now after hearing that. Who's the girl you like? Question mark? Exclamation mark? The girl I like? An image of Kurisu appeared in the corner of my eye again. The feeling in my hands when I took her life came back. Yep. No, calm down. Okarin? I'm sorry. That was rude to ask. I think that's the D line. Yeah, that's the D line. Not only is this different, this wouldn't have... This is like... This puts us on the route for the true ending as far as I'm aware. But I could be wrong. The world can be tricked, connect the possibilities, deceive the world. Like, I'm pretty sure this was sent from the Kurisu ending. That's my guess. But I could be wrong. Okarin? Are you really okay? Yeah. I'm fine. Kaede and Fubuki were looking at me, worried. I got away from them as fast as I could. And here we are, onto X-Day Protocol. A chapter that doesn't have any endings. But it's also the opposite side of the little zero for the storyline, so... That is definitely different. want to stop being a tester. When I started the conversation with that, both Dr. Luxnen and Maho looked shocked. We were meeting in a room at a luxury hotel in the heart of Tokyo. It felt like the sort of secret meeting you'd see in a spy movie. Or maybe I only felt that way because the old me wasn't completely gone. Wait, the old me, the Yoin Kyoma isn't completely gone. So true, buddy. Don't you know it? You can't just... It's irresponsible. Maho seemed to finally understand what I meant, and her anger was clear. Maho, calm down. Nintaro is the one helping us with this test. I'm grateful that you took up the offer at all. If you quit here, you're not being irresponsible at all. Don't worry. Dr. Luxinen smiled and offered me his hand. I can't read. Wait. I took hold of his giant hand and shook it back, but I looked down, unable to look him in the eye. I'm sorry. Still, I would have liked if you could have continued. I took a quick look at the logs, and I see you've been talking to her quite a bit. And the way Kurisu speaks to you is very different than what we hear at the laboratory. Humans are, by nature, social animals. They change their words and actions depending on the situation and who they're speaking with. We can assume that Amadeus is doing the same thing. That's why I wanted you to continue the test a little while longer. Thoughts. By the way, why did you decide to quit? Did talking to Amadeus become painful? No. It's the opposite. The opposite. Talking to Amadeus to Kurisu is a lot of fun. But that scares me. And then I desperately tried to explain the feelings that were welling up within me, even though I still didn't understand them myself. I told them how scared I was that I was starting to see Kurisu and Kurisu as the same person. I thought this might put a lot of stress on you. I'm really sorry. But that reaction of yours is very interesting. In the sense that you're interacting with Amadeus from the perspective of someone who isn't a scientist. That's very valuable to me. I hope you'll forgive me for saying that. I'm a scientist to the core, you see. No. I understand that I'm the one being selfish here. Mao hadn't said a word for a while. She was frowning, and she seemed to be intently focused on studying Amadeus's logs. I didn't want her looking at me, because it made me feel guilty, but... Alright, if you want to stop being a tester, that's what will happen. But, do you mind if we leave the access program on your phone? Huh? From now on, it's up to you whether you want to talk to Amadeus or not. I'll tell Kurisu not to contact you. Thoughts. I don't want our relationship with you to end today. You're the first friend we've made in Japan. And also, Maho would be sad. Professor! I understand. It felt like giving in, but at the same time, I didn't want to lose my relationship with Dr. Luxnen. My goal of going to Victor Condré University hadn't changed at all. And then Dr. Luxembourg got a call on his smartphone. Oh, excuse me. I have to take this. Maho, make up with Rintaro while I'm gone, okay? Dr. Luxembourg left the room with a mischievous wink. I was alone with Maho. I'm sorry for yelling. No. The professor's right. We're the ones asking you for a favor. Amadeus is like a sister to me. No. More like a child. Are you saying you're the mom friend, Maho? And I felt like you were throwing her away, so... I'm sorry I can't help you. I think I understand how you feel. Or, at least I thought I did, maybe. Maho sighed again. I'm no good, am I? Between the three of them, Maho's definitely the mom friend. I mean, yeah, but between the entire cast, she isn't really. I did read that last line, right? I think so. If not, oh well. Maybe your frontal cortex probably came out all screwed up when I was born. That has to be it. Huh? Oh. Huh? The prefrontal cortex is one of the parts of the brain that defines your personality. It also handles information filtering. When there's something you don't want to admit, it cuts out that information, or deceives you as to its meaning. There are at least 2 literal mothers within the whole cast, so like... I mean, yeah, but like even without becoming mothers, they're definitely still mom friends, so... I don't really understand. In other words, it tries to hide your emotions, and then tells lies. Not to other people, but to yourself. Like how I'm trying to hide how I feel behind a wall of scientific jargon right now. Mm-hmm. That you are, Maho. I think it's my prefrontal cortex that's doing it. That would apply just as well as the old me. Kyoma Hyoin. I can't say it in that order. Hyoin Kyoma. When I realized that, there was nothing I could say. I think that's true for everybody. It's worse for me, probably. Just, from now on, whenever you feel like it, talk to Amadeus. It doesn't have to be for long. I'll think about it. Thanks. Maho flopped back onto the sofa. Hey, can I ask you a question? About Kurisu's mom? Question mark? I happened to hear you and the professor talking about her at the party that one time. Right. You said that something happened at Kurisu's house. Yeah, I forgot about that between the whole everything else that happened. Oh, that. Maho seemed to remember it quickly. She nodded. We got a call from Kurisu's mom. Someone set her house on fire. What? Was she okay? She said she was gone that day, so she was alright. That was a relief. After all that had happened, I really didn't want Kurisu's mother to have to go through any more. Kurisu's mom seemed to really like me. No. She would invite me over on my off days all the time. So I'm worried. I hope she's not caught up in anything weird. I mean, I can take a guess as to who's behind it, but I don't want to talk about it. Weird. I noticed the way she said the phrase. A cold chill ran down my back. Understandable. Have a nice day. It wasn't just an arson case. Sir. Whatever. Well, Maho seemed unsure if she should tell me. Hiyajo. I urged her to speak. She nodded slightly. Well, at first the local police investigated, but after that, some people were saying that they were with the FBI came. The FBI? Yeah. Understand, this wasn't a case the FBI would usually be involved in. Chip, please be in the correct place in my body. And supposedly a neighbor saw the arson. That's nice. And from what she said, they didn't look like your ordinary arsonist. What does an ordinary arsonist look like? What? What do you mean? There are more than one. Just that they looked like some kind of special forces unit. They barely said a word. Once the fire started, they got right into the car and left. I don't know if this is the right word, but they looked really good at their job. That is more than one word, I will have to say that, but... And they said the fire spread really fast. Was she trying to say that it was no ordinary arson, but the work of a professional? I couldn't laugh away the possibility. Ordinary arsonist, what the hell happens in Japan for that to be a part of your vocab? Right? Like, I think maybe it, like, more made someone that's just doing arson to commit arson rather than, like, something more premeditated, like what's going on here with an organization being involved and whatnot. I don't know, man. It's silly. I knew for a fact there were people like that in this world. And the neighbor said they were speaking Russian. That's suspicious. Russian. The first thing that came to my mind, whether I liked it or not, was Nakabashi. Same hat, Rintaro. Half a year ago, he'd stolen a paper about time travel from Kurisu, his own daughter, and used it to seek asylum in Russia. I can speak. Could that have something to do with it? And there's one more thing. Of course there is. Right after Kurisu's death, something weird happened at the lab. That's nice. Someone who said they were a Japanese detective visited us with some of the local police. They said it was a joint US-Japan investigation into Kurisu's death. That's fair. Oh, you see where they went wrong. The leader of the squad should have said, "Remember, no Russian." Yeah, they should have just spoken English. Of course, we've helped as much as we could, but a few days later, the university asked the police. And they said that no such detective had come from Japan. That's sus. Because, like, I can understand that actually being investigated since we understand the circumstances behind Kurisu's death. But... So the Japanese detective was a fake? That's not all. The local police said they'd never searched our lab. That's... In other words, not only was the detective a fake, but everyone who came and said they were with the police were also fakes. After that, Maho shook a little and wrapped her arms around herself. I started to wonder if there was something else going on with Kurisu's death. I'm not really a conspiracy theorist, but... I mean... we know firsthand about what happened. But it would be difficult to explain. Dots. I think that maybe Kurisu was killed for some other reason. And whatever that reason was, it's been covered up. Dots. I was the one who killed Kurisu. The police never found out. They never would, probably. No one could prove a murder that had been committed by a time traveler. The police had announced that a foreign thief had snuck into the storeroom at a radio building, and Kurisu had been killed because she saw him. Supposedly there was an international warrant out for the thief's arrest, because he'd already left the country. And when I killed Kurisu, there was one other person there, Dr. Nakabachi. It was eerie that his name hadn't come up at all. Russia, CERN, the time machine. Remember the future that Suzuha, or perhaps I should say John Titter, had spoken of. She said World War III was going to start within a decade, and it would be the time machine that set it off. The EU and Russia would be in a race to develop it, then even America would intervene. That would be the spark. Were we at the center of a chain of events that would result in the deaths of 5 billion people? I couldn't help but feel that way. Kurisu won't be able to rest in peace like this. I want to know the truth. The truth? I couldn't stop myself from shaking as I looked at Maho's face. You want to know the truth? That was dangerous. If she tried to learn the truth, there would be no doubt that she'd put herself in danger. The Rounders, who came crashing through the veil of night. My childhood friend, who died in my arms after being shot in the head. And after that, the nightmarish and seemingly endless time loops. All the horrors that I experienced in the Alpha World line came flooding back, and I fought to stifle a moan, But that's something you should leave to the police. Do you really think so? If nothing else, you shouldn't think you can do something about it yourself. There's just so little that one person can do. After I said that, I regretted it, but it was too late. Dots. Maho's gaze had turned into a piercing glare. Do you know something about what happened? A little bit. Just a little teeny weeny bit. I'm doing a quick little Google search because I'm curious about a thing. Okay, anyways. Dots. My panic was about to show. I quickly covered my face with my hands. That's impossible, right? Yeah. Sorry for being weird. Whenever Kurisu gets involved, I just can't help myself. I really liked her. These hiccups. She was a really good girl, and an amazing one. I liked her too. That's an understatement, isn't it? Yeah, I can tell by watching you. Dots. Dots. A heavy silence filled the air between us. I felt like I had to say something, but fortunately, Dr. Lux came back just then. I bought some dinner, you two. I wonder what they're gonna eat. Maho and I nodded and stood up from the sofa. Okabe, will you tell me more about what Kurisu was like when she was here sometime? Clever. Clever girl. Yeah, whenever you like. I was just barely able to smile back at Maho. I saw a dark blue van come around the corner of the underground parking lot. Its tires squealed a little. It wasn't a Japanese car. It was a station wagon that looked like a sports car from some foreign manufacturer. I didn't know a lot about cars, but supposedly if you purchased it from a dealer, it could easily go for over 8 million yen. The reason I knew all of this was because the car's owner had told me over and over. That looks like it has a Subaru badge. The station wagon stopped in front of us, and there was a short bark from the horn. Associate Professor Izaki came out from the driver's side. While I was eating with Dr. Lux and Maho, he called me about something else. When I told him I was having dinner with the two of them, he'd offer to drive us home. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was a Subaru. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe, Professor Izaki got it imported for whatever reason. It still could be foreign for no good reason. Anyways, he offered to drive us home. Dr. Lux extended and had tried to refuse, but Izaki had insisted so much that he had no choice but to accept. He had a pretty nice car for an associate professor. No comment. This was the cause of a lot of speculation around the college. Some people said his family was rich, and others that he had the wife of some CPO. Okay. I can't take this seriously. I need to retry this, so I can actually speak. But whoever decided the card for this clearly didn't do the research. Unless Subarus are, for whatever reason, a luxury in Japan. They could be. I don't think they are, though. This was the cause of a lot of speculation around the college. Some people said his family was rich, and others said that he had the wife of some CEO as a patron. He'd once quietly told me the truth, that he was single and he spent all his money on his car. But he even knew if that was true. Izaki was acting like he was a professional chauffeur, opening the rear door and escorting Dr. Lux and Maho. It could be a Saab 92X, albeit the grill is wrong. But guess what car it's a rebadge of? A Subaru Impreza. But the badge looks like a Subaru badge. So I'll give the Steins Gate people some slack though, because they have a lot of science shit and shit, like, to be knowledgeable about. They can be not knowledgeable about the car, that's fine. The Badger Girl are very blatantly Subaru, yeah. Dr. looked in and thanked him and got inside. Maho went around to the back to load up her luggage. Naval, looks like you won over Dr. Lexington. He grinned and poked me with his elbow. You better not lose this connection, you know, for your future's sake. Alright. He was a hard guy to hate, but for an associate professor, he seemed kind of shallow. It was one of the unfortunate things about him. He waved to me and opened the driver's side door. What was that sound? That's what I'm wondering. What the fuck was that sound? About the same time I heard the strange sound, a hole appeared in the window on the front passenger side. That's what I was worried that sound was. Never a normal day in Steins Gate, huh? Never a normal day in Steins Gate. Izaki screamed and fell back on his butt. The rear window exploded. What the heck is going on? I panicked. Was this some kind of supernatural phenomenon? I'm not sure about that, buddy. I was too confused to move. And then in the corner of my vision, I saw someone. A man I didn't know appeared out of the shadow of one of the pillars. He was holding something strange in his hand. It looked kind of like a handgun. Maybe, just maybe it is a handgun if it looks like a handgun. They could have just traced over a Porsche Panamera. It started at 400k when it came out. This foreign, it is a sporty station wagon. Yeah, they could have, but they didn't. Which, once again, I'm still giving them slack over the car because they have so much knowledge into literally everything else. So... Is this even the same car that they're behind? Maybe they went behind a different car. I don't know. It was tiny with a short barrel, and it looked kind of flat. I couldn't see any kind of silencer. Who was that? Great question. I remembered him from somewhere. You do? I felt like we'd met before. Huh? Where? I don't know. I thought, but nothing came to me immediately. The man was standing there, mumbling something to himself. Woe to the world because of the things that cause people to stumble. Such things must come, but woe to the person through whom they come. I'm sorry, Silent. You have the time to do poetry right now? Hello? If your hand or your foot causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. That's nice. It is better for you to enter life maimed or crippled than to have 2 hands or 2 feet and be thrown into the eternal fire. Interesting take. And if your eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. Very interesting takes here, good sir. It is better for you to enter life with 1 eye than to have 2 eyes and be thrown into the valley of Hinnom. I probably said that wrong, but what is it? The name of a valley in eastern Israel, on the south side of the old city district of Jerusalem. The valley was once where impure garbage and executed prisoners were disposed of, and it was always filled with fires, black smoke, and a horrible stench. It was also where human sacrifices were offered to Molech, and so was feared and avoided by the people. The sight of this valley, constantly burning with unholy fires, became linked in people's minds with the idea of hell. That's understandable, quite frankly. Later, Gena would become a symbol of the hell. The Hebrew root word was Genom, which became the Greek Jana, and later the English Gana. I don't know how I'm supposed to be saying any of these. This is also why the flames that burn in hell are sometimes known as the flames of Gana. Huh. Learning. There was an aura of intensity and madness about the man as he pointed his quote-unquote gun at us again. Why is gun in quotes? The souls God granted dwell within us, the children of God. They will never dwell within silicon. Okay. Please be careful while running away like that, Isaki. Izaki stood up, turned around, and fled in terror like a startled rabbit. That sound again. It was so soft and light. Couldn't even imagine that it was a gunshot. But this time the car's windows didn't break. And it didn't blow a hole in me either. It missed? Was he too focused on Izaki? But you won't be that lucky again. Move. Dots. I pushed Maho into the back seat and crawled into the driver's side. Thankfully, the engine was still running. I slammed down on the pedal without even bothering to shut the door. The sound of a powerful engine shook the underground air. The attacker flinched at the incredible noise and vibration, but the car didn't move forward. Someone doesn't know how to drive, yet jumped into a car anyway, huh? I think we've actually been over this about him not knowing how to drive. This seems somewhat familiar. It didn't move an inch.
Shift!
Shift! You need to put it in drive! Dr. Lixenden and Maho were keeping their heads low in the back seat and shouting loud enough to be heard over the engine. Yeah, that's definitely a Subaru engine. I took my foot off the accelerator. I glanced over at the gear shift. It was stuck next to the N. What am I supposed to do? Do you have a license? No. What? I then through the windshield. I saw the attacker ready his gun again. He was aiming at me. The look in his eyes told me he was ready to kill without hesitation. The soul will not dwell within silicon. Silicone. Oh. Crap. Cracks like a spider web appeared in the windshield. Something went past the side of my head. I felt a sharp pain. And at the same time a ringing in my ears. And all the other sounds faded away and started to disappear. Felt myself passing out. And then Maho jumped over the seat and slid into the passenger side. Close the door, now! My mind was pulled back to reality. I slammed the door shut, just as she told me. Maho shifted from neutral to drive and leaned over on top of me to grab the wheel. Floor it! I slammed the accelerator so hard that for a moment the wheels were almost spinning in place. Then the car leapt forward. The attacker was getting closer. We were going to hit him. I was about to take my foot off the accelerator when... Leave it! Maho shouted. I gritted my teeth and did as she said. But there was no impact. Evidently the attacker had leapt away at the last second to avoid being crushed. But there was no time to confirm it as the car raced through the parking garage. We were worrying too fast, and since Maho was controlling the car from the passenger seat, she couldn't keep it going in a straight line. The car spun to the left and right, and I was almost flung out of the broken window. I grabbed onto the edge of the seat as hard as I could. We headed for the exit, slamming into walls and pillars as we went. Who is that guy? No idea. Right. Go right! I could see an exit sign right in front of us. I can't turn fast enough. I pressed the brake and put my hand on top of Maho's, turning the wheel to the right. But that was the wrong thing to do. The rear tire slipped. The car spun in a circle. And then it came to a stop. Are you okay? Yeah. What about the professor? I looked back and saw Dr. Luxinen lying face up on the seat, giving me a thumbs up sign. Let me take over. Right. I quickly put my hand on the door and got ready to get out of the driver's seat, but then I saw an old creaky sedan rumbling towards us and shivered. It was the man from a moment ago. He was following us and moving really fast. Get out! He's going to ram us! This door. It won't open. Had it broken when we slammed into the wall? I grabbed Maho out of the passenger seat and rolled outside. Dr. Luxinen rolled out of the rear door. It was less than a second afterward that the sedan hit. If we'd been even just a little too slow, we would have been turned into a mincemeat. I stood up and offered Maho a hand, then moved away from the unrecognizable wreck that used to be a car. You okay? Thanks. Oh, Jesus. That's graphic. Both cars were smashed together. The attacker sedan was completely embedded in the rear half of the car we'd been driving. There was no way he could have survived. There were no tire marks on the ground, which meant he slammed into us without braking. I shivered. I had almost been killed. Anyway, I need to contact the cops. I was about to pull out my smartphone when the security guards heard the commotion and came running. Excuse me, please call the police. The security guard nodded and contacted the police. Oh, it hurts. Can't imagine why. I could feel a pulsing ache on the side of my head. The shot from the gun had grazed me. I hadn't felt that pain at all while I was driving. Adrenaline! I fearfully reached up to touch it and felt blood flowing from my temple down my face. I gulped when I saw that my fingertips had turned bright red. I almost saw Mayuri when she was shot in the head. I can read. I almost saw Kurisu when I'd killed her. Ugh. The images felt like they were about to come flashing back to me, and I struggled to stay standing. You're covered in blood. Did you get hit? No shit. Maho went pale. Is this a bad place to get hit? I mean... There's something called a superficial temporal artery there. Anatomy learning time. An artery located at the terminal branch of the external cardioid artery. It travels from the neck to the head between the temples and ears. It supplies blood to the skin, ears, and jaw joints. Let me see it. I'm gonna touch you a little. Out of context, that makes... Ugh. Anyways. Dr. Luxinen looked at the wound. When he touched me, I felt more pain, but I gritted my teeth to endure it. It's okay. You're not that badly hurt. I'm glad. Use this. Thanks. I put the handkerchief he offered to me up to my temple. That's the guy who attacked us. He was the one at the seminar. Really? You don't remember? That was the guy you yelled at. Oh. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I have a goldfish brain. Explain better, please. A flashback? That's right. This CG. It sounded like he was insulting Kurisu, so I shouted objection at him. That was the guy. Was this his way of getting back at me? Not a chance. The souls God granted dwell within us, the children of God. You will never dwell within silicon. Huh? What's that? He was saying that before he fired the gun. Was he talking about Amadeus? I don't know. I could faintly hear police car sirens in the distance. The hotel security guards and staff were starting to gather. Hey, how do we explain this? You know what? That's a great question. We tell them exactly what happened. I mean, we don't exactly know either. And then Maho's eyes went wide. She, Dr. Luxinen, and the crowd were all staring at a single point. I looked, too, and almost screamed. Woe to the world. Such things must come. Woe to the person through whom they come. Is he a zombie? He looked pretty dead in that one CG, man. The man crawled out from the wreckage of the sedan, covered in blood. And then he staggered to his feet. He looked like a zombie. All his limbs except the one holding the gun were pointed off in impossible directions, and I could see what looked like bones sticking out of them. Yikes. His stomach was torn open, and each time he crawled forward I could see major organs covered in blood falling out of the hole. What the fuck? But he moved towards us as if he felt no pain at all. It was such an awful sight that no one could speak. The man unsteadily aimed the gun towards Dr. Luxinen. He must have been on the verge of death, because his arm was flailing around too much to aim. But Dr. Luxinen's expression was pure terror, and he seemed unable to move. Blasphemy. So... Whoa. Professor, run! The shot rang out. Fresh blood flew out of the man's head, and his body was blown away as if it had been hit by a truck. He fell to the ground, still clutching his gun. He tried to crawl forward anyway, but soon twitched and stopped moving. The crowd began to scream, understandably so. What? The attacker had been shot? Did he shoot himself? No. No. The gunshot was clearly different than the last ones. Who's there? Who had just fired? I looked around. I could see several policemen coming from the entrance, but none of them had their guns drawn. And the crowd was nothing but security and hotel staff. I couldn't see any of them carrying a gun. So who had fired, and where had they fired from? And the way they took the attacker's head off with a single shot. Not just anyone could do that. What is going on? Of course no one told me. Afterward, the police took us into custody. We were taken to the police station and questioned until late into the night. The sun was almost about to rise by the time we left. The police took me home in a patrol car. Dr. Luxinen and Maho were having the police take them back to their hotel in Mako, so we split up in front of the police station. We never did find out why the man had attacked us. Because he is unhinged. That shit crazy. Sees a hub perspective. That's promising. Religious zealot, yeah. Or zealot. I don't know. I'm very much so not knowing how to words. I probably should have just done more, visual novels during. But maybe I would be worse if I did. She felt dizzy. That's strange, Suzuha thought. She stopped moving. Since she was in the middle of the sidewalk, other pedestrians looked irritated as they moved around her. Thoughts. She took a deep breath and waited for a moment, but she still felt dizzy. Actually, she was finding it difficult to stand. Was she hallucinating, or was the whole world starting to get blurry? All the noise of the city around her suddenly felt very far away. It was like she was diving underwater. Okay, so Suzuha, find the nearest bench and sit. Was this the reading Steiner ability that Uncle Okurin had talked about? Was she starting to acquire it too? And then she realized how warm she felt. The truth hit her. Am I sick? Yes, most likely. That is the more likely thing. Thank you, dear Suzuha. She somehow managed to stagger back to the lab. It seemed she was worse off than she'd thought. If she could have, she would have fallen to her knees right there. During the war and afterward, when she joined up with her dad's organization, she'd been hurt badly enough to go into a coma several times. Jesus fucking Christ. But this was the first time something like this had happened since she became a time traveler. This is bad. She looked up to the second floor. The lights were on. She felt honestly relieved to know her dad was there. She walked up the stairs. The door was unlocked. She didn't have the energy to speak, so she tried to silently take off her shoes. And then she tripped. Oh no! How is she alive then? I don't know! But at least she is, because it would suck if she wasn't. She made a cute little ass sound. She fell forward. That hurt. Suzuha? Itaru was in the room. He saw her and ran over. You okay? Yeah. She rubbed her knee and tried to stand up, but staggered again and fell into Itaru's arms. Oh. What's wrong? Sorry. I'm feeling a little dizzy. A little dizzy? And you're falling all over the place? I'm not sure about that, sweetie. Huh? Are you not well? Feeling well, Suzu? Are you alright? When she heard those voices, Suzuha finally realized that Yuki and Mayuri were also in the room. She let her guard down, she realized. Yuki seemed unconcerned by Suzuha's obvious uneasiness. She walked over with a serious expression on her face. Suzuha, let me see your forehead. Yuki brushed her bangs aside and put her own forehead up against Suzuha's. That's unnecessary. Tiny Mayuri jump scare. Honestly, understandable. That startled me a little bit too. Suzuha's heart started pounding. Oh dear. She had distant memories of her mother doing this before. Oh. You've got a terrible fever. What? Tyler put his big hand up to Suzuha's cheek as well. Oh, you're right. Do you have a cold? Tiny Mayuri reappears. I'm fine. This will get better fast. Hey, don't push yourself. You need to go lie down right now. Duh. That's right. I know that. We're gonna just rest for a bit. Yes, Tiny Mayuri. Suzuha used the last of her energy to reach the sofa. She collapsed on top of it and closed her eyes. Calm down, she told herself. Mayashi will bring the wet towel, okay? Ashida, where's Suzuha's change of clothes? It's here. It's all inside this. Ah, of course. I don't rummage through it and go sniff sniff, you know? No one would have thought that if you didn't say it, Daru. You fucking weirdo. I like that sniff sniff is being freaking explained. Onomatopoeia used to describe the act of smelling something, often used in manga and on the internet. A favorite phrase of perverted gentlemen. Its origins are unclear, but its use has been seen as far back as a popular comic during the early 1980s. If you don't stop being stupid, I'll infect you with my cold virus, brother. Suzuha kept her eyes shut as she complained. Can I just pick something out to change her into? Thanks. I can't do it, obviously. Yeah. As she listened to the conversation going on around her, Suzuha felt a cold shower on her forehead. How do you feel? Sorry, big sis Mayu. My I don't go sniff sniff t-shirt has been asking questions already, answered by my t-shirt. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna go buy some cold medicine. You guys take care of her. Okay. Bye. Can you stand up, Suzuha? I always want you to get changed before your brother gets back. Suzuha opened her eyes. Yuki was standing over her and looking down. No, I'm fine like this. This is how I've always done it. In fact, before Suzuha became a time traveler, there were many times when she'd been unable to rest, even if she was sick. Many times she wasn't able to change clothes or even lie down. Compared to that, this is a lot nicer. No way. The most important part of a cold is when you just start to get it. But... no buts. Take your clothes off. Oh dear. Yuki was a little more forceful than usual as she tried to take Suzuha's clothes off. Suzuha jumped up, surprised. Fine. I'll do it. I can do it myself. You're soaked with sweat. Mayuri, do you have any dry towels? Oh, yeah. Here. Yuki took the towel that Mayuri had brought from the shower room and gently wiped the sweat off of Suzuha's forehead and neck. That tickles. Just stay still. You're not a little kid. But... Suzuha shook as she was rubbed with the towel. She wasn't used to being touched, and this was the first time since she was very young that anyone had done this to her. That's enough. I'll do it myself. You don't need to worry about it. I'm not worried. Suzuha grabbed the towel from Yuki, trying her best to hide herself from the gaze of the other two. She took off her clothes and wiped away the sweat. Her face felt really hot. She didn't know if it was because of the fever or not, but she was finding it difficult to think straight. Is this okay? Yes, good job. Now change into this. She grabbed the new pair of underwear and clothes from Yuki, still trying to hide herself. She put them on. When she lay back down on the sofa, Yuki put a blanket on her. Mayuri, you said this room doesn't have a washer, right? Yeah, it's always been such a problem. Maybe she will take you to the laundromat later, okay? Huh? You don't have to do that. We've gotta take care of each other at times like these. That's right, Suzu. Are you hungry? Think you can eat anything? Thoughts. Suzuha looked at Yuki, then Mayuri, and was about to mumble another refusal, but in the end she gave him and pulled the blanket up to her nose. This was really hard.
お腹は
I'm not
そんな
that
に
hungry.
でも
But you need to
薬
eat
を飲む
something
前
before
に
you
食べ
take
て
the
おかないと
medicine.
おかゆ
How
なんか
about
どう
rice
かな
porridge?
それいいね
That's a good idea. Weren't we on about these two being the mom friends just a bit ago? Yep. They're really proving it too. And honestly, Dada is being a good dad.
じゃあすぐに作りますか
Okay,
ら
I'll make it
ちゃ
right
んと寝
away.
ていてくださ
Lie
いね
down for a bit, okay? Yeah.
うん
I'm back. Itaru came back from the drugstore a while later. I'm so tired. Did you run, Daru? Jesus. He was really out of breath. He must have gone running there and back. You're only exhausted because you never exercised, she thought to herself. But, for some reason, the sight of her exhausted father made her happy, and she quickly shook her head.
ご苦労様
Thanks, Daru. I'm about to
こ
make
れ
a
から
rice
お粥
porridge.
作るんだそれを食べたら
But she has
薬を
that.
飲ませ
Good
て
for
あ
the
げてください
medicine. Okie dokie. Itaru walked over to Suzaha as he answered. How are you feeling?
よくない
Not so good. I guess all that stress caught up with you. I never actually seen you take a break.
我ながら情
This
け
is
ない
really
よ
pathetic.
私
Maybe
ここにい
Maybe
な
I
い方が
shouldn't
いいかも
stay
しれな
here.
い
What?
どこかで気が
I've
緩ん
been
でたん
getting
だ
lazy. You're here, Dad.
ま
And
ゆ
Big
姉
Sis
さんがい
Maya
て
is here. And Big
ルミ
Sis
姉さんがい
Rumi.
て
And that at some point,
いつの間
even
にか
Mom
母
showed
さん
up.
まで
Thoughts.
そのせいで
Because of that,
時々
sometimes I feel
任
like
務
I'm
を
going to
忘れ
forget
そう
my
になる
mission. Oh.
なんだか
It starts
こ
to
の
feel
温
like
かい
this
時間
happy
が
time is going
い
to
つまでも
continue
続くんじゃな
forever.
いかって錯覚しそうになったりこのまま戦争
And
な
I
ん
find
て起き
myself
ないんじゃ
thinking
ない
that
かっ
maybe
て
there'll never be a war.
ふと考えてしまったり普通の女の子
I
と同
start
じ
to
ような暮ら
fantasize
し
about
に
living like a normal girl.
憧れてしまいそうになったり
And what's wrong with that? When Daoru spoke, his face was actually serious for once. He was looking straight into Suzaha's eyes. It was the face of the father she knew so well, the man who was always there for her. So you're going to leave this place? And where are you going to go?
それは
Well,
マシ
inside
ン
the
の中
time
と
machine
か
or something.
You know you can't stay in there, right?
でも
But you know I can't leave my daughter there, right? Oh,
とさ
sad. For a moment, Suzaha was about to cry. She squeezed the blanket as hard as she could to stop herself. And then, whoops, accidentally gave a serious response. God damn it, Daru. Why is that a tip? Net slang, the act of responding seriously to a post without joking around or posting memes. Okay. Munch, munch, munch. Thoughts. Anyway, I like being around cute girls, and I look forward to going sniff sniff when you're not looking. God damn it, Daru. I especially like girls too who are sick and sweaty. God damn it, Daru. Did the future Mrs. leave the lab without me realizing? I'm pretty sure she's in the kitchen making rice porridge with Mayuri. So like she's still there, but she's not really in earshot.
やめて
Stop it. So you ought to get better soon, if you don't want me dancing over you. Daru. Thoughts?
分かったよ
Yeah. Suzuho whispered back a response, then turned away from Itaru and pulled the blanket closer. Oh? Did my little speech just solve your problem? Did I get bonus affection points? If you keep being stupid, I'll make you regret it when I get better. Are you going to put on boots and step on me or something like that? Please. I'm going to stick things under your fingernails. Oh, oof. Please don't. Anything but that. Sorry. She could smell the pleasant scent of Mayuri and Yuki's cooking from the kitchen. Listen, Suzuha. Would you tell me what it is you're looking for every day? Oh shit, yeah, we went so far back the Kagure didn't exist yet to everyone. Fuck. Ah. Thoughts. Might be able to help with it. I mean, later. I'll tell you once we're alone. Oh, yeah. That's fine, but... Yeah, we went back to, like, the first chapter. Like, not the prologue, but the chapter after that. That's how far back we went. We're in December, man. Oh yeah, that's fine, but... It's not something I can let Big Sis Mayu hear. Huh? Yeah, there's no way she could tell Mayuri. 3 days later, oh wow. It's the song. It's the song, guys. Yeah, that's a normal noise to make about that. Suzuho was still sick. Yuki came over every day with Mayuri to check on her. Aww. Because of this, Suzuho was able to eat nutritious food, and her fever had gone down. And all that was left was to get her strength back. But still, Yuki kept telling her she needed to lie down. This meant that, for better or for worse, Suzuha spent her whole day on the sofa, half asleep. Somewhere in her half-awake mind, she heard a terribly off-key tune. Then she also heard the sound of falling water. It was probably coming from the shower room. What song is this? Do you know, Mother? Suzuha had heard it when she was very young. Her mother had been singing it, just like she was now. But what exactly the song was about, she just couldn't remember. I need to get up. I can't stay asleep forever. At that point, it's called either a coma or death, so... I guess if it's forever, it wouldn't be a coma, it would just be death, huh? But even when she tried to open her eyes, they just wouldn't move. Her body must have needed more rest. Maybe Yuki was right, and she needed to lie down some more. Cute Suzuha sound. She moaned and twisted slightly. Once she did, the blanket fell to the floor. She didn't feel like she had the energy to pick it up. Oh, hi Mayuri. She could sense someone standing up from the desk where Itaru always used the PC. Whoever they were, they came back over and put the blanket back on. Aww. I smell Big Sis Mayu. Weirdly, Mayuri always smelled good even when she wasn't using perfume. It was a slightly sweet smell, like a pale white flower. Hello, Dawn. Yes, we have the new emotes because we reached the dono goal. Also, since you donated $20 and gifted a sub and all that fun stuff, or I think you just resubbed, I don't remember. But either way, you do qualify for a black and white sketch of a single character if you would like me to do so. Incentives thing. But if you don't have a character in mind, you can just message me later. Yeah. And you're tired, and that is fair. Honestly, same, but like that's because I'm always tired. Oh. Well, there you are, Spooky. There is your resub. Let me see if the game won't. I'm gonna make a quick save so the game doesn't break on me, or if it does break on me. But let me update the thingies. Hopefully the game doesn't break on me. That would be so sad. You. Now we're at 65. Yeah, sketch. A black and white sketch of a single character of your choice. But you're actually now at the $30 one, so that means you also can get a handwritten thank you letter if you would like. I would just, of course, need your address so I can send it to you. But, of course, don't give it to me in chat. But, yes, thank you for gifting sub Sakuna. Okay, let me see if the game is okay. The game is not okay. We'll get... Or, no, it is okay. Wow. Miracle. Let's see if I can... Let's see if the game will keep behaving enough for me to go back to it just fine. But let me work on that sketch real quick for you. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I have that. I don't have to do it now? Nah, that's okay. I'll do it now anyways. I might as well do it live. It's part of the appeal. Oh yeah, I don't think you ever got back to me where you wanted your name on the dono wall, so I put you in the D. You're gonna go to bed? Okay, well. Okay, I'll make a compromise with you. I will do the sketch later, but let me double check what you mean by Sakuna, so that I'll just have a tab open, that way I can actually do it. Let's see. Do you mean like this version specifically? Like the first results here? Or did you have anything more specific in mind? I really need to watch Jujutsu Kaisen or read the manga at some point, because I haven't done that. The first one? Okay. I will sketch him. Maybe next stream that you're on, or I'll just do it in downtime stuff, but yes. You will get your quick little sketch of your boy. But you go have sleeps. Yes. And I will go back to Steins Gate so long as the game doesn't crash. Are you okay, game? Yes, the game is still okay. That never happens. You can do it whenever. Okay. I probably should change it back to the thing. I don't think I changed it back on. Yeah, okay, here. You need it? I know what I'm doing. There we go. I'll make sure I get it to you sooner than later, though, for sure. And then I'll message you on Ko-fi if you actually want the handwritten letter as well. Yes. Let me update my little note here, actually, too. Oh, yeah, your team won. I'm glad to hear it. But yes, have good sleeps. It was the scent that It was the scent that had held her all night, on that distant day in the future when she'd lost her mother. That. Suzuha pulled her legs inside the blanket and grabbed onto her knees like a baby in the womb. Memories went in and out of her mind as she lay there half asleep. Do you think Mom got hurt? Do you think she suffered? She suddenly remembered what Kaguri had said to her after they traveled through time. 2036. The day when she'd left. At the last second, Mayuri had looked at Suzuha and Kaguri inside the time machine and smiled. It was just like the gentle smile on Suzuha's mother's face when she died protecting her daughter. Thoughts? Suzu, did I wake you? No, I've been up for a while. Want something to eat? Yeah. After she said yes, Suzuha snapped back into reality. She was getting weaker. When she realized that, she forced her sick body off the sofa. Her head shook, and she had to stop herself from falling forward. But she grabbed the back of the sofa and managed to stand on her own 2 feet. Oh, you shouldn't get up so quickly like that. I'm fine now. Sorry to bother you, Big Sis Mayu. It's not a bother at all, okay? Mayuri went to the kitchen and turned on the burner underneath one of the pots. The sounds and smells of bubbling stew filled the whole lab. Mayuri mixed it with a ladle and stopped every once in a while to taste it. She turned towards Suzuha and smiled. Oh, it's a big success. Did you make it? Yep. Now she's getting a lot better at cooking thanks to Yuki. Aww. Where's my dad? I mean, my brother. He went to May Queen. He said he's got work after that. I see. Oh, you're thinking of going out tonight because Daru isn't here, aren't you? You can't do that. I'm fine. You're not fine. If you do that, I'll have Yuki get mad at you, okay? What's this about me? The curtain to the bathroom opened, and Yuki came out. Her skin was just a little flush. Suzu won't lay down. No, you know better than that, Suzu. Ugh. You need to stay down for at least another day. Got it? Yeah. Suzuha's answer was less than enthusiastic, but she gave in to Yuki's glare and sat back down on the sofa. Okay, now lie down. Fine. She pouted and slumped down on the sofa, not the kofa, what the heck, and then pulled the blanket on top of her. Suzuha was capable of talking back to Big Sis Mayuri, but she would never be able to talk back to Yuki. What? I was thinking how you look so cute like that. What? If Daddy saw you like that, you might be in trouble. Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if you're really brother and sister. I mean, more like father and daughter. But I digress. Don't be creepy. Oh, Suzuha, are you blushing? I'm not blushing. Really? Of course not. Why would I be? You're blushing right now. It's so cute. It's the cutest thing, really. Shut up. Suzuha couldn't say anything, so she just had to turn away. Okay. It's time for Maishi to go to work. You're not going to have any stew? I'm going to stop back here after work. I'll have some then.
その時じゃあ
Okay.
サラダか何か
I'll
作
make
って
you
お
a
いてあ
salad
げ
or
る
something.
一緒に食
Have
べて
dinner with us, okay?
ありがとう
Thanks,
ユキさん
Yuki. I look
楽
forward
し
to
みに
it.
してるね
I already told Suzu one more time that she needed to keep laying down, then left her maid Queen yawn squared. Yuki went to the kitchen and added a few seasonings to the stew Mayuri made, then turned off the burner.
あ
Oh,
そうだ
right,
スザ
Suzuha.
さん
You're covered
汗
in
かい
sweat,
てるで
right?
しょ
Want me to
食
wipe
事
you
の前
down
に
before we eat?
体拭いておきましょうか
Huh?
いいって言
I
って
told
る
you
じゃ
it's
ないか
fine. Yuki wanted to do stuff like that every day, and each time Suzuha frantically refused.
シャワーは無理で
Even
も
if you can't
ちゃん
take a
ときれい
shower,
に
you
して
need
お
to
か
at
なく
least
ちゃ
keep yourself clean.
昨日も一昨
I
日
did
も
it
やったんだ
yesterday
か
and the
らい
day
いって
before, so it's
1
fine.
週間や2
It's
週間
not
くらい
like
放
going
っ
a
ておい
week
て
or two
も
without
死ぬ
doing
わ
it
け
will
じゃな
kill
いし
you.
1週
A
間っ
week?
て
You
そん
can't
な
do
のダメ
that.
ですダメです
Absolutely not. Yuki hurried into the shower room.
あのさ
Listen,
自
I
分で
can
でき
do
る
it
から
myself.
そういうこと言う
People
人に
who say
限って
that never end up
いつ
doing
ま
it
でもやらないんで
themselves.
すよねそんなこと
That's not.
ダメです
No. Yuki came back with a bowl filled with hot water and a towel. She could be stubborn when she got this way. Suzuha learned that well over the past 3 days. Yuki was just like the mother she remembered. She slowly, uneasily stood up. And then she took off her top, trying her best not to let Yuki see her skin.
女の子同士なん
We're
だから
both girls, so you don't need to be so embarrassed.
構わないだろ
I don't care, really.
背中だけ
I'll at least
私が
wash your
拭いてあ
back,
げます
okay?
ねいい
It's
子供
fine.
じゃないんだ
I'm
から
not
で
a
きる
kid.
でも
But I
ちゃ
don't
んと
think
拭
you
け
can
な
do
い
it
と思うし
yourself.
いいってば
I said it's fine. Yuki seemed a little shocked, but she quickly handed over the hot, wet towel.
ごめん
I'm
なさい
sorry. Some people don't like being
触られるのが嫌な
touched,
人もい
right?
ますよね
No,
うん
I'm sorry for yelling.
私こそ悪かったお湯
I'll leave
テ
the
ーブ
hot
ルの
water
上
on the
に置
table,
いておきま
okay?
すから
I'm gonna get
夕
dinner
飯の支
ready.
度しちゃいます
Yuki walked off, dejected. When Suzuha saw that she was focused on finishing the cooking, she slid behind the curtains into the back part of the room. Thoughts. She used the towel and wash bowl to wipe herself down. She couldn't let Yuki see her body. There were scars both old and new all over her, and burn marks that might never heal. To her, these wounds were like medals from the vicious battle she had survived, and she didn't care who saw them. But she didn't want to let the mother who'd given birth to her, or rather, would give birth to her, see them. Especially not the dozens of pale white marks around her breasts.
母さん
Mom. She still remembered that nightmarish day. The bullets which had killed her mom had lost their power as they passed through her organs, but still managed to dig into Suzuha's skin. And when they did, they were covered in her mother's blood and flesh. The scars would probably never heal completely. To Suzuha, they were her mother's grave. She shook her head to try and get the nightmare out of her mind. She took her bottoms off too, and then wiped herself clean all the way down to her toes. Then she put on a new pair of underwear. It was only after she finished putting on her newly cleaned clothes that she felt human again. When she came back, Yuki was putting bowls filled with stew and salad onto the table. Thoughts. Thoughts. And their eyes met, and an awkward silence filled the room. It's ready.
できました
Yuki broke the silence first.
うん
Yeah,
ありがとう
thanks.
どのくらい食べます
How
か
much do you want?
いやいいよ
No, it's okay.
それくらい
I
は
can do it
私がやる
myself. Suzuha put just enough stew and salad for her meal onto her own plate, and then made a plate for Yuki as well. Well,
すみません
thanks.
よ
No.
こっちこそ
I'm sorry to make
食
you
事の
do
用
all
意な
this
んてさせ
cooking.
て悪い具合が悪
I
い
told
時
you,
は
we're
お互
gonna
い
look
様
out
と
for
言
each
ったはず
other
です
when
よ
we're sick.
食べ終わったら
Once you're done
ちゃん
eating,
と
make
薬
sure
も
you
飲ん
take
で
your
くださいね
medicine.
うん
Okay. The two sat on the sofa and filled their mouths with stew and salad. The stew had a mild, gentle flavor. It felt like something Mayuri would make.
ずいぶん上達したで
Mayuri's
しょ
gotten a lot better,
まゆりちゃん
hasn't she?
缶
She
詰を
didn't
た
just
だ
take
温
something
め
out
た
of
だ
a
け
can
と
and
か
warm it up,
そうい
you
うわ
know?
けじゃないんですよ大したもんだね
I'm pretty impressed.
あの鈴葉さんも
Do you
や
want
っ
to
て
try
みません
making it too?
教え
I'll
ますよ
teach you.
私
Me?
私
I'll
はいいよ
pass. I'm not the
柄じゃ
type.
ないしそんなことないと思い
I
ま
don't
すけ
think
ど
that's true.
まあいつか
Well,
ね
maybe someday.
いつかっていう人は
People who say
結
someday
局
end up
最
never
後までや
doing
ら
it,
ないん
you
ですよ
know? Okay, I don't need to be called out. Listen.
それさっ
You
きも
said
似た
something
ようなこと
similar a
言っ
minute
てた
ago.
そうでしたっけ
Did I?
うん
Yeah. And then the conversation ceased for a time. Suzaha slurped down her stew. She had terrible manners, and tried to come up with something to talk about. This time it was Suzaha's turn to break the silence. After what she just remembered, she couldn't bear to be silent around Yuki.
さっきの歌だけど
That
さ
song you were singing,
あれ
what is that?
なんだっけ歌
Song?
シャワールームで
You know, when you were
ほら
taking a shower? Huh?
え
Huh?
もしか
Was
し
I
て歌ってま
singing?
した私
Wow, that's so embarrassing. I'm a terrible singer, but I love to sing, so I sometimes hum things. I don't know if it matters whether you're any good or not. I just can't remember what song it was.
思い出せなくてさ
Neither can I,
私もなん
actually.
ですよえ
Huh?
印象的なところだけ
I just
覚え
remember
て
the
るという
parts
か
that were really
子供
memorable.
の頃に
I
流
think
行
it's
った
from an
教育
educational
番
show
組
that
の
was
歌か
on when I
何
was a
かだとは
kid
思うん
or
ですけど
something.
役に立て
Sorry,
なくて
but I
すみ
can't
ま
help
せん
you.
鈴葉さんはい
Suzaha,
つ頃あの
when did you
歌
hear
を
that song?
私も
When I was a
子供の
kid,
時か
I
な
think.
そ
My
の
mom used to sing it
母さ
for
ん
me
が
all
よ
the
く歌っ
time.
てくれたよ優しそうな人
Your mom
ですも
seems like a
んね
really nice
鈴葉さ
person.
んのお母さん
Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I'm not sure you would necessarily say that about yourself. I don't know.
うん
Yeah. Hello? I thought you said not that long ago. I am a little confused, but that is okay. Thank you for subbing, Mars. I appreciate it. That adds another... I don't know, Twitch. I don't know, man. Well, let me update the thingies. Oh, that also conveniently plops you at 20 total for your contributions to this. So you also are eligible for a black and white sketch. How exciting. It's just a single character and you can DM me or message me anywhere about it and I can get it done. Because we are invested in Steins Gate. And I'm really hoping the game doesn't crash. Please. I didn't save this time. Hello? Oh no. Okay, thank God. I was worried. You voted, TM? Wonderful. Thank you for being a voter. It makes me happy that you enjoy supporting me. It's really sweet of you. There are also new emotes because we got to the $50 mark earlier. For the Vods crinkle bag one. How was your trip with your family? And I hope traffic wasn't too terribly bad. I guess I noticed your message really late. Steins Gate has already been a time TM, as always. The conversation plus and Ashley, she didn't think about the way she responded. It was nice, it was a beautiful day. The traffic on the way home was gross. Oof. Yeah, that definitely sounds like it. But I'm glad you had fun other than the traffic on the way home. Huh? A second later, she realized what she said, and then she stared at her mother. You saw the goth house and Barbie house in person? Oh, nice. Is something wrong? Turns out they're in Malibu. Yeah. Aren't those owned by the same person? Yeah. I don't know anything. But I'm glad you had a fun time. Is something wrong? My mom. What do you mean? What do I mean? I saw her 2 days ago. Wait. I feel like I missed something. No, I didn't miss anything. Okay. Huh? It says she came here 2 days ago. Huh? But that's impossible. Is there some reason your mom wouldn't come? Well, I mean... There was no way she could say that her mother was right in front of her. Confused, she fell silent. Yuki, for her part, must have come to some conclusion about the reason for Suzuha's reaction. She started to stammer and fidget. I'm sorry. Huh? I don't know. Did something happen between you and your mom? No. You got in a fight and ran away from home or something? That's not it. It was weird thinking back. Your mom just brought Hashida some food and a change of clothes. I didn't say anything to you. Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I thought was gonna happen, but... She brought my brother food and clothes? Yes. Thoughts. Suzuha thought as hard as she could and finally reached an answer. Oh, so that's it. Yuki was talking about Itaru Hashida's mother. In other words, Suzuha's grandmother, who she'd never seen except in pictures. But since she told Yuki that she was Itaru's brother, it was only natural that she would make the wrong assumption. Is something wrong? Please just tell her the truth. Like, please. I feel like that'd make your lives that much easier. No, it's nothing. If Itaru had said even a word to her about it, this wouldn't have happened. How stupid. She'd have to give him a lecture later. While Suzuha was thinking about the talking to her dad was going to get, Yuki had already started to sympathize with her imagined plight. Suzuha, you can talk to me anytime. We can talk about whatever you want. For some reason, her eyes were starting to well up. Thank you. Suzuha didn't know how to react to this, but she felt a little embarrassed. Mom really is a nice person. Just like she told Itaru, this place was too comfortable. She was starting to imagine that this life would continue forever. Yuki is very precious, yes. But setting this brief, happy time beyond the horizon of the world line was supposed to be Suzuha's mission. If she didn't, then this world would be destroyed. Back to Okabe. Welcome back, Meowster. As I walked into the maid cafe, Maid Queen Yon squared. The kite-eared maids working there greeted me cheerfully. It was a weekday evening, so there were more open seats than usual. Welcome back, Kyoma. I mean, Okarin. Oh, Is Mayuri here today?
マユ
Mayushi will be here soon, yeah? About 30 minutes?
そっか。
I see. Mayuri had been working here for a while now. Her main name was Mayushi Nyan Nyan. When she was a maid, she wore a long blonde wig and cat ears, and looked very different from her usual self.
ダルに呼ばれたんだ。
Daughter called me.
もう
Is he
来てる
here yet? Yep, at his usual spot. I looked toward the back corner and saw a silhouette sitting next to the window with the sun at his back.
あと、
Oh,
今日は知り合
I
い
never
が
got
一緒なん
someone
だ。
with me today. They've never been to a maid cafe before.
俺と
Can you
ダルの
keep them
話が終わ
company
るま
until
で
Daru and I
ちょっ
finish?
と相手してもらってもいいか。
Meow?
お知り合い
Who could that be,
どちら
meow?
様かにゃ
おい、
Hey, Yajo,
こっち。
over here. That's what I thought. I called to Maho. She was fidgeting outside the store, apparently unwilling to come in. Meow? Openings with a cute girl, meow?
いや、
Wait, is that really that surprising?
しかも
And from her height, she's either in elementary school or middle school? No, stop it.
違う。
She is not. I can't believe it. You already got Ferris, but instead you went out and found a new lover. A new lolly lover, nyang. Ferris. Dear. Ferris, dear. I love you, but please.
違うって。
I did not.
彼女は
Just from an
アメリカ
American
の大学から
university
研究のため
and
に
just here for research.
これはもう
My only choice is to denounce you at the round table, nya.
人の話を
Listen to me.
あの
Um,
一体何の
and what are
話
you
をしている
talking
のかしら
about? This is Steins Gate Zero, much like the anime of the same name, as this is the source material. It's a time TM. Maho had finally made it inside, and she was staring at me and Ferris with suspicious eyes. I'd gone with Maho to the police to talk about the attack again. After that, we both realized we hadn't eaten, so I had brought her here. Ferris stood up to her full height, gave a cute little bow, and then did one of her cat-like poses.
おかえりなさい
Welcome back, mistress. Mistress? Question mark.
当店では
At this cafe, we don't say welcome, we say welcome back, yeah.
あ
Oh, so that's it.
フェイリスニャンニャン
I'm Ferris Nyan Nyan Nyan.
お嬢様
What's your
お名前は
name, mistress? Nyan Nyan Nyan? Please.
ヒヤ城マホ
Maho Hiyajo.
ヒヤ城
Hiyajo.
というと
So from
沖縄
Okinawa,
のお
yeah?
嬢様かにゃあら
Oh,
よく
I'm
知
amazed
って
you
る
knew
のね
that.
いつも聞き返され
People
る
always
から
ask me to
間違
repeat
えられ
it,
るかも
or just get it
どっちかなの
wrong. But you knew it was
し
from
かも沖
Okinawa.
縄の名前ということまで
All the nya. All the Nyamars.
当然だに
Of course, nya.
フェイリスは
3 lives ago, I was the spirit guardian of the land of
パイパティローマを
Paipatiroma, which lies beyond the horizon of the Ryukyu Kingdom, nya. Paipatiroma, a legendary island whose name in kanji means the island between the shining summer waves. It is said to be even further south than Haterurima Island, the southernmost occupied island of Japan. In Okinawan, Pai means south, Pate means end, and Roma means coral reef. So put together it means the southernmost coral reef. The Okinawan faith has always believed that beyond the sea lies a mythical utopia named Nirai Kanai, and Paipatiroma is believed to be a variant of this. Another explanation says that geographically, it could refer to Taiwan or Luzon Island, but the truth of both theories is unknown. Another island in the Ayama island chain, Yonaguni Island, has a belief in a legendary island called Haidonan. This shows how deeply the Nirai Kanai belief is embedded in this area. Ferris, I swear indeed. I'm not gonna try to read your other Nyan message, though that's insane. Nope. Pass. Same. Same Hifumichu. Anyways, Kingdom of Ryukyu. The kingdom that would later become modern Okinawa. Ah. The country had a long history that stretched over 4.5 centuries and served as a major trading point in the Asian region. And the capital was located at Naha, the Shuri castle. High-ranking noble families called the Wikata built castles called Gisuku on top of mountains and hills and ruled over their own local areas. In 1609, they were invaded by Satsuma province and were forced to pay tribute both to Satsuma and the Edo shogunate. Even so, the kingdom was allowed to keep its independent status, but in 1879, the Restoration government forced it to hand over Shuri Castle and officially became a part of Japan. Religious rituals played an extremely important role in the life of the kingdom of Ryukyu. These rituals were held by priestesses called Noro. We are learning TM. Amazing.
はい
Huh.
そう
That's right. The voices of we spirits were brought to the people by the Noro, and we made the kingdom prosper, nya.
正しい姿へと
Yes,
導いていたのに
knowledge. Festivals and religious rituals play an important role in Okinawan life, and it's always the job of a woman to lead them. The school of thought that says that it's the woman that speaks of the gods is one found all around the world. During the time when Okinawa was still its own independent kingdom, the royal government specifically designated priestesses called Noro, who had greater authority than the high-ranking nobles. The most important of them, the Kikoe no Okimi, the great lady who hears and prospers, was second in rank only to the king, and her influence extended even into politics and judicial matters. Since the Noro were an official rank of the Okinawan kingdom, their only remnants now that the kingdom is gone are a few of their descendants. Thus it is civilian priestesses and spiritualists called Yuta that perform modern rituals. Yes, knowledge, so true. And the franchise does indeed have a lot of both. I wasn't expecting a history lesson about Okinawa though because of Ferris's ramblings though. Like, I'm not complaining. I've always wanted to know more about Okinawa, but it's just one of those things that I never gotten around to, like, looking into. So, Yes, Okinawa. Thank you, Hifumi-chu.
ところが荒ぶる
But the raging sea gods invaded Paipatioma, and at last we... Oh no, she's crying.
ごめんなさい
I'm sorry.
この人は
What
何を
is she
言っている
talking
の
about?
あ
Oh,
ーなんという
it's
か
a special dialect
Akihabara
spoken
で通じる
exclusively by the
特別な
people of
言語
Akihabara.
のものかな
So true. Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. So true.
そうなの
Is that right?
ああ
Yeah.
あまり考えると頭
Think
が
about it too much and your head will explode. Yeah, that's accurate.
すでにパンクし
It
そうなんだ
already
けど
feels like it's about to explode. That's fair.
とにかく
Anyway, just wait a minute. I need to talk to my friend over there.
話があるんだ
Yes, Ferris going from a little cry to that. So accurate. I can't read it efficiently though. That's so true. Question mark? I pointed to Daru, and when she saw him by the window, her eyes narrowed.
どうかした
Is something wrong?
ずいぶん大きな
He's a
人ね
pretty big guy. Okay. And you're a pretty small girl.
後で紹介するよ
I'll introduce you later.
少しは痩せ
Tell
る
him
よ
to
うに
lose some weight. Stop. Like he does, but that's mean.
それじゃ
Okay, Mahonyan. I'll take you to your seat.
するに
Another maid had just finished cleaning a table.
ゃ
Mahonyan.
かわいいに
Isn't it cute, Nya?
ゃできれば
I prefer
普通
something
に呼
more
んでもらえない
normal.
かしら
There is no normal here in this cat cafe. Cat maid cafe.
これが普通だに
This is normal, Nyan. Now come this way, Mahonyan. Mahon remained dead silent as she was led to a seat near where Daru was sitting. I headed to Daru's table too. I sat across from him and ordered some coffee from a nearby maid. I'm disappointed in you, Okurin. Normies must explode. Don't say the same thing as Ferris. It's not like that. What do you mean it's not like that? She's a legal lolly. Shut up, she's just small. And not only is she really cute, I love how she seems so unrefined. Okurin, you jerk. Nufu. I hate that phrase so much. The legal lolly. Yeah, that's understandable.
そういうこと本人に言う
Don't
な
tell her that. She's scary when she's mad. I glanced over at Maho, who was staring at the menu, and trying her best to keep up with Ferris. Good luck,
前に電話で
Maho.
話しただろ
I told you about her on the
襲われ
phone,
た時に一緒
right?
だった
She was with me when I was
レスキューの
attacked.
助手の
She's Dr. Luxon's assistant.
そんなことはどうでもい
That
い
stuff
っつう
doesn't
の
matter. The issue here is that you get to go around with cute girls and I don't.
可愛い女の子を連れ
You'll
歩い
have
てい
a
るっつ
future
うことなの
wife
だ
and a
ぜ
guaranteed daughter, which means you get laid at least once. Stop complaining.
お前もすればいいだろ
Then go do it.
デートとか
Go on a date or something.
嫌味
Was that sarcasm?
さら
Wow,
にでき
you
る
really
ように
are a
なった
jerk,
な僕に
Okurin.
嫌味じゃない
It
ゆ
wasn't.
きさんを
Why not ask
誘
out
ったらどうなんだ
Yuki?
ぐぬぬ
Yeah. But wait,
まさか
you're not telling me you haven't even
まだ
approached her
全然アプ
yet?
ローチしてないのか
いいんだ
It's fine.
僕は
I plan to become a
魔法使い
wizard.
になるんだから
Excuse you? There's an urban legend that if a man is still a virgin past the age of 30, he becomes a wizard. It's also said that further training can make him into a fairy. Okay, but like, you literally have a guaranteed daughter. Please don't make Suzuha not exist.
おいおい
Hey,
それじゃま
that's
ずい
not a
な
good idea. Suzuha will never be
生まれてこなくない
born. Ah yes, hello Mars, welcome to the time travel shit. I don't really know what else to say.
それを言われ
I don't have a good comeback for that. You're just gonna say I'm gonna become a wizard if anyone asks you stupid questions now? Oh dear.
ゆきさんのことを
You like Yuki,
嫌いじ
right?
ゃないんだろ
そりゃ
Sure,
綺麗な
she's
人
pretty
だ
and her
し
thighs are the
桃
curve
と
of
か
her
同
neck.
じとか
The
まあ
curve
まあ
of
す
her
る
neck
け
make
ど
me pant. Goodness. It is a roller coaster. Welcome to Steins Gate.
やめないか
Stop it,
変態
pervert.
変態じゃない
I'm
よ
not a pervert. I'm a perverted gentleman.
どっちでも
I
い
don't
い
care who you are.
俺は
I'm
恋愛
talking
的
about
な意味で言って
romance
るん
here.
だ
Hmm. Tyler leaned over the table and sipped his iced tea through a straw. It's even worse if you start from the beginning, to be honest. I mean, yeah. And yes, Daru is indeed a pervert. Perverted gentleman doesn't make it any better. No, it doesn't.
そういうの
I don't really
わかん
understand
ない
that
んだよ
stuff.
ね
って子供か
Jeez, what are you, a little kid?
今日のお前が
Is
言う
this today's you don't get a talk thread? We stared at one another. He was right. When it came to romance, I didn't really have the right to talk.
まあいいや
Well,
そうい
whatever.
う話
This
をした
isn't
く
what
て
I
呼んだ
wanted to
わ
talk
け
to
じゃ
you
ないし
about.
確かに
True.
本題に入
Get
って
to
く
it.
れ
うん
Yeah,
実は
you
さ
see. There are two things I
話は
wanted to
二つあって
discuss. Your daughter stopped and casually looked around. There weren't many people in the cafe, and thanks to Ferris, there was no one sitting near us. As long as we didn't yell, there was no risk of being overheard. I realized that the old me's habits were coming back. Was it because I just gone through something out of a Hollywood movie? Right. Mars and Hifumi, you missed that very totally not traumatic event from earlier in the chapter. Man, good times.
まず一つ目な
First,
まゆし
I want
に
you to
は
keep
内
this
緒
a
にし
secret
て
from
ほしいん
Mayuri,
だけど
but
人
I'm
を
looking for
探してる
someone.
んだよ
I love that I'm just not going to explain what happened. It's okay, don't worry about it.
マユリに内緒
A secret from Mayuri?
うん
That's right.
なんで
Why?
あー
No,
ちょっと
well,
ね
you know. Question mark. He seemed reluctant to speak. You known her since you were kids, right? Does she have any friends named Kagari?
カガリって名前の子知らない？
Hmm.
かがり
Kagari?
ん
Question mark? Of course, I didn't know every single one of her friends, but I've never heard that name.
いや
No. Not as far as I
俺
know.
の知ってる限りは
じゃあ
Then
名前
forget the
は置い
name.
といて
Were there any
マユシ
girls
と
that she
特
was
別に仲
especially
の良かっ
close
た
to?
女友達とかは？
Well,
と
let me see.
そうだな
There was a group of kids she used to play with in elementary school. I told Daughter their names. Of course, he knew all her friends since high school. She was especially close to Fubuki and Kaede from her cosplay group, as well as Ferris and the other maids at May Queen Yan Squared. There's also Luca, even if he wasn't a girl.
俺が答えられるのは
That's all I can tell you.
お
I
前
don't
が
know
知ってる
much
こと
more
と
than you
大して変わ
do.
らない
Sorry.
いや
No,
それでも
that's
十分だ
plenty.
助
Thanks.
かった
Daughter took out his smartphone and wrote down the names of the girls I'd given him.
なんでマユリ
Why don't you ask Mayuri herself?
うーん
Hmm.
まあ
Well,
いろいろ
there's some
あって
stuff going on.
というか
And who is
だ
this Kagari
カガリって
anyway? Why are you
どうして
looking
誰
for
がその
her?
人を
Thank you for bothering to explain, Spooky. But yes, a religious zealot attacked Maho, Okabe, and Lexinen in a parking garage. Erica, Maho, and Okabe being at the police department earlier. Good meowing, oh my. How was your nap, Catman? I hope you slept well. But yes, good meowing. That is appropriate. Meow meow. Thoughts. Dade was unconsciously tapping the table. He seemed to be deciding how best to explain it.
実は僕じゃなくて
Actually, it's not me who's looking for her.
鈴葉が探してるんだよね
It was good until your dad got home and slammed every door he walked through and Mom started yelling, Jesus. Why? Why? That sucks. But I'm glad you otherwise had a good nap. I hope you're able to sleep well tonight. Because they're special people. That's definitely one way to put it. For sure.
鈴葉が
Suzuha?
なんで彼女
Why
が
would she be looking for a
Mayuri no
friend of
知り合いなんか？
Mayuri's? No, wait. If Suzuha was involved,
それはつま
that
り
means Mayuri's future
マ
is
ユリの未
involved?
来に関係あるってこ
Is
と
that
か
why she can't sell Mayuri?
だからマユリには言えない
It's Unedited's turn with the brain cell.
まあね
Yeah.
その子の名前さ
Her name is Kagare
椎名
Shina.
カガリって言うんだと
Are you telling me that daughter hasn't pieced together that would mean daughter, but whatever?
シ
Shina?
うん
Yep.
マユリの
The
親
relative
戚
of
なのか
Mayuri's or something?
そうじゃない
No.
いや
No. Well,
そうじゃないこ
maybe.
ともないマユシの
she's Mayuri's daughter.
娘なんだっ
There
て
it
さ
is.
あ
Oh. He said it so naturally that I almost missed it. I see. Her daughter, huh? Her daughter. What does daughter mean again? Hello? Daughter. 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 Mayuri's daughter.
マユリの娘
Mayuri's da-
声がでかいっつ
You're too loud. I swallowed my words as best as I could. Is
本当なの
that
か
true?
それ
うん
Yeah,
ただ
but not her real
実
daughter,
の子
I
供じゃ
guess.
ないらしい
She was a war
戦災孤
orphan
児だ
that
った
Maishi
の
adopted.
養子にしたとかなんとか
A war orphan. I couldn't even imagine what chain of events in the future would bring that about. But it sounded a lot like something Mighty would do. Even on the worst world line, Mighty would still know the joy of having a child. A warfin. What is with you with the puns today, Fumichu? Please. Maybe It was wrong, but that still made me feel a little better. Yeah, Hifumi is killing it today. But at the same time, I felt a little worried about whether she could raise a kid. Not him. I mean, don't worry about it. We carry on.
でも
But isn't that weird?
変じゃ
Why
ない
would
か
Mayuri's daughter be here
なんでこ
in
の
this
時代に
time?
マユリの娘が
What do you think other than being on the time machine with Suzuha at some point? Like, come on. She escaped from 2036 along with Suzuha, it looks like.
なんだって
What? But when she stopped in Akihabara in 1998 for a mission, they got separated. Suzuha searched as hard as she could, but never found her. So many lines are crossing I can't keep track. Yeah, that's fair. There's a lot to Steins Gate. It's hard to keep track even if you were here from the very beginning. Lines indeed. World lines.
それで
And so she left her in 1998.
置いてきたのか
I guess someone almost found the time machine while she was searching. She had to jump and leave Kagure behind. Afterward, she kept trying to jump forward a few months at a time and look for her, but when she got to the year 2000, she started to run out of fuel.
で
And so she
本来の
jumped
ミ
to
ッションを果たすた
2010
めに
to fulfill
一
her
気
real
に
mission.
2010年まで飛んだっていうこと
To
か
finish his sentence, and daughter nodded. But even after coming here, she's still looking. So do you think you can ask Miss Mayu without letting her know what's up?
俺が
Me? Whether someone around her age came to see her about 10 years ago, or something like that.
お
Oh,
お
yeah, sure.
分かった
I'll ask.
聞いてみるよ
If I could find her, I wanted to. Adopted or not, she was the future Mayuri's daughter. And I felt a little guilty about things with Suzuha. I wanted to help if I could. Just then, the maid brought my coffee. As I drank it, I looked over to Maho's seat. Ferris had barely left her alone for an instant.
それじゃあ
Alright, I'll put a magic spell in your pancakes to make them taste even better, Nya. Magic? Oh yeah, Maho. Maho is magic. Her name is Maho. Say it with me, Maho, Nya. The world is in danger, Nya. It's a conspiracy, Nya. Can I just eat my
普通に
pancakes
食べさせて
normally?
もらえないかしらここでは
This is
これが
normal
普通
here, Nya. Pancakes do sound good, yeah.
では
Now enjoy your pancakes,
召し上
Nya.
がれにゃいただきます
Thanks. Oh, Maho, Nya. It's dripping. The honey is dripping.
え
Huh? What?
も
Oh, jeez. You're like a little baby. Spooky gonna bring me pancakes? Maybe. What if you wanted to be normal but God said, Nya? So true, Morris.
赤ち
A
ゃん
baby? They looked like they were having a good time. I turned back to Daru.
一つ目の話は分かった
So that's the first one.
で
What's the second?
二つ目ってのは
Yeah.
これ
I don't know if I
オカ
should
リに
ask
聞
you
いてい
this,
いもんか
but
迷ったんだけど
なんだ
no.
水
Come
臭
on,
いな
man.
やっぱやめ
Maybe
た
I
方がい
really
いかな
shouldn't. He just mumbled to himself and didn't say anything. It was rare for Daru to hesitate like this.
言ってみろよ
Come on. Out with
答え
it.
たくないと思っ
If
た
I
ら
don't want to answer, I
拒
just
否するか
won't.
ら
Okay.
じゃ
Then
あ
his hand went for his smartphone. Question mark? Huh? Ryan. This is about my secret job, so let's use this.
秘密のバイトというと
So the secret job of yours. Dada cut me off and pointed at my phone. I guess he wanted me to use it. Is this something even more secret than what we just talked about? Secret job? You mean you're hacking? Yeah, basically. It's not all illegal stuff, though. I make online systems for manufacturers and banks, build and admin servers, boring things like that. Oh, and I do virus analysis and make security software. There's data recovery. Oh, and I'm making new encryption tech, too. Seriously? So like a system engineer? Nothing formal like that. Typical yes major, yeah. But we got a bit of our reputation. Our group gets jobs from all over the world. I call myself Dash. What's that short for? I can't tell you. Why? I just can't. I don't think I can help you with that. You were close to Kurisu Makise, right? Where's this going? Huh? What do you mean? Yeah, I thought that too. He gave me just his name. I want some help with her. I hit a dead end with this job I'm doing. A job you're doing? What do you mean? Sorry. Never mind. Tadori said that to me directly and was about to put away his phone. Wait. If you stop here, I'm going to be so busy thinking about it, I won't be able to sleep at night. Or the super hacker. You know what? That's also not an option too. It could be. But don't worry about me, man. It just makes it worse. Fine. He whispered and sent me another message on Rhine. Someone brought in a laptop and a portable hard drive to us a while back, both of them having really strong full disk encryption on them. It can't be booted without a password. Of course, you can't take the hard drive out and connect it to another PC either. The client hit up a bunch of places with no luck and finally came to us. Is the encryption that strong? I've learned that even full disk encryption can be broken by a pro. Not happening with this one. You know why? We were the ones who made it, baby. Huh? You guys made it? Then you can't deal with it yourself? I'm a believer that encryption needs to be a poison without an antidote, or there's no point. So you don't know how to break the code, even though you made it? Exactly. If we can't break it, then other hackers who are just as good as us can break it too, right? And that's no good. Duh. I see. Don't call me a super hacker. Utsu. Short for Utsukura-sama, which means good work or way to go. Net slang. I see. But where's Utsu used? Whatever. I didn't. What's this to do with Kurisu? The laptop and hard drive belonged to Kurisu Makise. Yeah, I saw that coming as soon as laptop got mentioned. But what? So Kurisu's belongings? I wanted to ask Dada directly, but stopped myself. Something seemed weird about the client, so I hit up the PC manufacturer's user registration database. I did that as a secret, by the way. And I found that it was registered under her name. Same address too. It's definitely her. Who brought you the computer? Why would they have Kurisu's computer? Sorry, the rules say I can't tell you that. Were they Russian? Huh? Nope. Why Russia? Nakabachi? No, if it's not, then fine. So what do you want me to do? I want a hint, man. You know any words that Kurisu might use for her password? I can't brute force the password, so I had to do it the hard way. I tried her birthday, graduation dates and stuff. Address and phone too. Not that I can imagine her picking them for her password. Also any words commonly used in brain science or frequently used in her papers. I've got all that data. Now I'm trying stuff from her private life. You know what's fun? That since we did other endings, we already know her password. It felt like the grave of someone I cared about was being violated. What kind of words did I associate with Kurisu's private life anyway? Kuriko Hana Kamehameha? My fork? Or maybe something to do with her dad? I tried to remember more about Kurisu, but when I did, I started to think about her last moments. I quickly shut down that train of thought. Ponzi sauce? She said it like once or twice. Come on, man. Sorry, can you give me a little time? I can't come up with anything that quickly. Yeah, Roger. Just tell me if you remember something. And I'm not forcing you. If you remember and don't want to tell me, that's fine. Yeah. I sighed and gulped down my cold coffee. She's wearing the Santa dress. Oh. Okarin, I told you we're having a Christmas party at the lab today. Do you remember? Mayuri's voice sounded really excited.
Oh.
Yeah, of course. That's something that's different. In the other side of events, the Christmas party didn't happen. So it's nice that it's happening in this one. And of course she did. Mary Chrysler, yes. Mayuri had spent a lot of time preparing for this day. She was probably really looking forward to it. Well, do you think you can come? I'll be there. It's at 6, right? Yep. Are you at the university right now? Okay, have a good lurk, Mars. Thank you so much for subbing again and all your contributions so far. I really appreciate it. Nah, Waku City. I'm at what's basically a lab. It belongs to a professor I know. Wow, Waku City. She had no idea where Waku City was, did she? Will you make it? I'll be fine. Great, I'll be waiting. Her voice got fainter on the phone for a second, and I heard the other girls. Okarin! All the girls today are wearing Santa outfits and waiting for you. We're waiting, yeah? We're waiting. Did they get Luca into a Christmas outfit too? Come on, you too, Luca. What? I'm not a girl. Luca's cosplaying too. I also need to see Santa Ferris. I need to see all of them in their little Santa outfits. I'm sorry. I'll take it off. I'll take it off right now. Oh, what a waste. It looks so good on you. You guys are having a lot of fun, huh? We're getting ready right now. Mayushi's in a super short Santa miniskirt and she looks really cute. By the way, her panties are pink. I think we could have lived without knowing that, but thanks. Ma, what are you talking about, Fubuki? Oh. I'm sorry, she's being weird. Anyway, we're waiting, right? Okay? Yeah, that is weird. But they're like... Catman. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, see you later. It sounded like the party had already begun at the lab. With all those girls there, I'm sure they were having a good time. Luca, you're the only guy. Hang in there. God damn it, Catman. I chuckled and put away the phone. It sounded like they were having a good time. It was Maho who spoke to me. Actually, only Maho and I were in the room. If you're friends with Luca, I'd probably also encourage him to cosplay. Yeah, same. I think we all agree. I'm going to my friend's Christmas party today.
ああ
No.
そう
Is it
い
that?
えば
It is that
もう
time
そ
of
んな
year,
時期な
come
の
to think of
ね
it.
君は
You don't seem like the type
そ
to
う
be
いうのに
interested
は
in
無頓
that
着
stuff.
そうだな。
こっちに来てから
Not
は特
really.
にね
Since I came here, I
普
spend all
段
my
はい
time
つ
in
もこ
this
こにい
room.
るし
The only people I
最近
see
会う人
lately
と
are
い
the
えば
police.
警察の人ばかりだし
I tried to force a laugh at Maho's joke and looked around the room. It was dead silent. The exact opposite of the noisy lap I just heard on the other side of the phone, in fact. Nothing had changed since the first time I'd come, which meant that it was still only Maho and Dr. Lux that were working here. And the professor had been meeting with different researchers all the time since he'd come to Japan, so he wasn't spending much time in the lab. That made Maho was spending most of her time cooped up in here alone. Well, that's normal for a scientist, I guess, but...
よかったら
Do you want to
ヒア
come
ジョ
too,
ス参加するか
after what happened? She probably needed a chance to blow off some steam.
私
Me?
気を使わなくていい
Don't worry
わ
about me. I feel more
こうし
relaxed
て
when I'm
一人で
doing my
研究
work
できる
alone.
方が
It means I don't have to
気が楽な
deal with other people.
の人間関係に煩わされずに済むから
そんなもの
Is that
か
how it works? Kurisu had said similar things. Kurisu, huh?
それより
Anyway,
本題に
let's
入り
get
ま
to
し
the
ょう
point. That's right. I hadn't come all the way to Maho's lab to make small talk.
クリスに謝り
You
た
said
い
you wanted to apologize to
さっき言
Kurisu,
ったわよ
right?
ね
あ
Yeah.
そのために私
And
の
that's
とこ
why
ろ
you
に
came
来
to
た
me.
と
そうだ
Yeah.
うん
Hmm.
なぜ
Why?
一人じゃ
It's hard for me to talk to her on my own.
それで私に
So you want me
仲裁
to
を
be
し
a
てほしい
mediator?
と
そういうこ
I
とに
guess
な
so.
る
Yeah.
変な人ね
You're
あ
a
なた
weird guy. Maho's reaction surprised me. Was I that weird? I mean, no comment.
最後に話した時に
The last time we
俺
talked,
が動
well,
揺しすぎたのが
part
悪
of
い
it
ん
was
だが
because I was freaking out.
かなり強
but I
引に
kind of
話を
hung
打ち
up
切
on
ってしまったんだクリスの性格を考
Knowing
えると
Kurisu's personality,
確
she's
実に
mad.
怒る
I'm sure of it.
中途半端に
And
繋
since
が
I'm
ってい
still
る
kind
分
of connected to her,
見えないプレッ
I've
シャ
got
ー
this
で
invisible pressure
四六時
bearing
中
down on me
ビクビクして
every
いるように
minute
な
of
っ
the
てる
day. Dr. Lux had been trying to help me out, but it would have felt better if he just stripped me of access.
そんなにびくつかな
Does
く
it
て
really
も
bother you that
クリス
much?
からは連
You
絡
know,
しないよう
Kurisu
にな
was
ってい
told
るわ
not to contact you,
そう言っ
right?
たでしょ
そうな
Yeah,
んだ
but
が喧嘩別れみたい
I
な
don't
こ
want
と
our
にも
relationship to end with a fight.
なりたくないんだ
That's fair. I never wanted to go through what I experienced in the Alpha World Line again. In that world line, I never been able to figure out what she was trying to tell me at the end. Why a bunch of F's for a little giggle? I don't know. But a bunch of F's for a little giggle, sure.
まあいいわ
Well, whatever.
仲裁でも
If you
何
want
で
me
も
to
する
talk
か
to her
ら
too, I
要
will.
件を済ませて
So
しま
let's
い
get
な
this
さい
over
よ
with.
助かるよ
Thanks.
せっかくのクリスマスイブなんだから
It's Christmas Eve,
少しは
so
気の利いたことを
why
言って
not
あ
say
げたら
something
どう
nice? Why was that quick saved? Why did that quick save? Why was that quick saved? There shouldn't be anything. Why was there a quick save there? I don't trust this game.
あ
Yeah,
あそうだな
you're right. Not that I had any idea what nice would be.
どうしたの
What's wrong?
早くアクセス
Hurry
し
it
て
up.
アプリのアイコン
Just
を
tap
タ
the
ップす
icon on
る
your
だけ
phone
で
and it'll connect
い
you
つでもつな
whenever.
がるわ
What if I don't? Like, there's not... Like, I'll probably force me if I just keep not doing it because, like... On my little handwritten flow chart of things, like, there's nothing about this. The professor told you he left you with access rights,
教授が
right?
前にそう説明したでしょめんどくさい
You're
人なの
really
ね
a pain, aren't you? Maybe. Nothing's gonna happen if you just keep staring at your phone. My phone's not even out. I know that. Don't hurry me. Okay. What? I can't believe you actually contacted me again, huh? What's going on? What? Hi to you too, Kurisu. No, she totally wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Hey. Hello, Rentaro Okabe. Do you need something from me? I thought you didn't want to talk to me anymore.
Yeah.
Well... Her eyes glanced toward Maho for help. Kurisu, he wants to talk to you. Can you hear him out? I didn't say I wasn't going to. I was just checking to see if he still didn't want to talk to me. She was mad, I knew it. Come on, hurry up. Yeah. I took a single deep breath and lifted up the phone. I'm sorry, this is such a silly CG. Are you okay, dude? You don't have to hunch over your phone like that. Poor Maho, you're just like, why am I in part of this? I bowed my head. You were nice enough to talk to someone like me, and I betrayed your kindness. Yeah, Maho's face is such a mood. And I know it was rude of me to just suddenly hang up the last time we talked. I was remembering some personal stuff that had happened, and I was a mess. But that's got nothing to do with you. I at least wanted to apologize before I quit my job as a tester. That's all. Oh, another set of Fs for a little giggle. Kurisu was chuckling the same way Maho had just done. Are you serious? What? How can you laugh when I'm giving you a real apology? Because, well, I'm an AI, right? But still, you've got this somber look on your face, and you're apologizing so seriously. And the last time we spoke, you said talking to me was embarrassing, right? You're weird. Was it weird to apologize to an AI and mean it? A little bit. Definitely a little bit. It probably was. Fine, to be honest, I was a little disappointed in you, but this makes me change my mind. If you'll agree to my one condition, I'll forget all about it. Condition? What was she going to make me do? I had a bad feeling about this. Okay. Let's hear it. I want you to take Maho out to dinner today. Excuse? Why is that your condition? Take Maho out on a date. Please, thank you, bye you. What? Huh? Huh? Maho's eyes and mine went wide. Wait, Kurisu, what are you talking about? Don't you know what day it is today? Christmas Eve. Exactly. Exactly what? Exactly. So what'll it be, Okabe? Yes or no? Why does she look so excited? Fine. Hiyajo, I'm officially inviting you to that party I was just telling you about. Please come. Party? Yeah, he has a social life. I'm getting together with some friends for a Christmas party. That's not what I meant. But maybe dinner for two is too much to ask for right off the bat. Maybe this is better. Kurisu, if you keep teasing me, I'm going to get mad. I'm not going to any party. Then I'm not going to forgive Okabe. Yajo, please. Why are we talking about this? I'm trying to help you out here. Listen. Anyway, I need to wait for the professor to get here and give him my report. Hey, Rintaro, Maho, what are you talking about? Wow, how scripted. Dr. Lixinen walked in at the perfect moment. Maho looked relieved and went to open the file on her desk. Welcome back, Professor. Here's the data for today. Maho, hold it. You guys want to go somewhere? It's Christmas Eve. Let's put our work away and go get some food. Or did you already have something planned? Yes, perfect. They might have planned that, actually. You're right, Spooky. You're onto something. Nice job, Professor.
Huh?
Okay. He seems too confused. Professor? My friends are having a Christmas party. If you'd like to come, you're more than... Wonderful! I'd love to. Didn't even wait for the invitation to be completed. I didn't even get to finish my sentence. Of course, Maho will be coming too, yes? That was the moment when Maho's last hope of escape was cut off. Then it settled. Christ. I thought I was gonna say Christina. This is not the first time that's happened, where someone's saying Christ and I was very close to saying Christina. Anyways. Kurisu smiled mischievously from within the screen. She was quite the plotter. The real Kurisu used to do silly things like this too. Jesus, Christina! That's great. Thank you for that contribution, Catman. Hey, Okabe. When she called my name, I gasped. Thanks for apologizing to someone like me. It made me very happy. Oh. No. If you want, we can talk anytime, if you're bored or something. If I feel like it, maybe. Yeah. Bye. Take good care of Maho. Kurisu! Are you satisfied? Yeah. I felt more relieved than I thought I would. I realized that I really did love Kurisu Makise. But is it really that weird to apologize to an AI? My friend, you know, the guy you met at May Queen, is always on his knees begging to girls on a computer screen. I don't really understand why someone would do that. Uh-oh, that freaked her out. Bad example. Anyway, you really helped me out, Hiajo. You don't really need to do what Kurisu told you to. Well, but the professor seems really excited about going. The professor flashed his white teeth at me. And I promised Kurisu. You really are weird. But even as she said it, she was smiling. I guess she decided to go to the party. She's a hub respect. Hello? Excuse? No, fix a Suzuha. You can't do that. You can't change the world. You're not making sense. You can't erase this world. I won't let you. Huh. I don't know. There were bullet marks on the inside of the time machine. Suzuha traced them with her fingers and remembered what had happened here. That was the last time she had talked to Kagari. Oh. She'd never been able to find her after that. Suzuha, what's wrong? You're spacing out. Do you not feel well? Huh? Suzuha looked back and saw her father, Itaru, who seemed worried. He was holding a bolt in his hand and offering it to her. Oh, sorry. I'm fine. She nodded and took the bolt. They were on top of the radio building, where a cold wind was blowing. A light was shining down on the rear of the time machine, where the engine was. Her head was inside as she did maintenance work. Itaru was wandering around in the background. Normally she would never let him near the time machine, but today he absolutely insisted on coming. Hello, cat. What kind of dad wouldn't be worried about his daughter when she just got really sick? Suzuha had spent the last several days unable to stand up because she hadn't taken care of herself. There was nothing she could say back to him. Listen, I won't touch the space-time shifter or gravity controller or anything dangerous, so you'll let me help? No. I'm probably better than you are at mechanical stuff. I know that, but no. Itaru slumped forward, dejected, but Suzuha had no intention of discussing it. Listen, Suzuha. It's dark and it's late. We should do the rest tomorrow. Let's go home. You can go home by yourself, Dad. I've still got work to do. Are you going out to look for Kagari-tan again? Okuri says he'll help, so you don't need to do it all by yourself, do you? You just got over your cold. You should put off the search for a little while. That made her a little mad. I didn't want you telling Uncle Okuri without asking me first. Suzuha told Itaru that she was spending every day looking for Kagari, but it was only later that she found out he told Rintaro. It wasn't a problem, but her relationship with Rintaro was already a bit strained, and this only made it harder for her to ask him to get back on the time machine. Anyway, you look like you've been having a bad time. There's a bolt here that's hard to turn. Which, I'll do it for you. You can at least let me do that much, right? Yeah. Suzuha pulled her head out of the engine unit. You're covered in oil. Your pretty face is ruined. Say that stuff to Mom. That's asking too much. Itaru stuck his face inside the machine and began to look around. Oh, from the way this is laid out, that pipe was probably added on later. Take the pipe off. There's probably coolant or something going through it, so use this valve to empty it first. I don't think this machine was designed with maintenance in mind. You got that right, Guapito. I don't know. Acronym for what a pain in the ass. I see. Wapita. Who do you think made this? Me. Itaru sighed and started to concentrate on his work. He did his job silently, twisting his massive body to the left and right. Watching him, Suzuha remembered her childhood. When she was younger, she loved watching her dad make the time machine. Dad? Yeah? Lately,
最近
I'm starting to not
なんだか
understand myself
自
anymore.
分でも自分が理解できなくなってきてさ、その
This
こんなこ
this
と考
might
え
be a
る
weird
なん
thing
て
to think,
おかし
but
いんだけど、この世界をなくし
is
て
it
しまっ
really
て
okay to erase this
本
world?
当にいいのかなって。
Your mind flashed back to young Kaguri's screams. You can't erase this world, huh? She'd never forgotten the look in Kaguri's eyes, and she'd never been able to shake that feeling that they were watching her somehow.
私のミッショ
If
ン
my
が成
mission
功すると
succeeds,
さ、
Kurisu Makase
マキセ・クリスは
won't
死なずに
die,
シ
and
ュ
the
タイン
door
ズ
to
ゲート
Steins
へ
Gate
の
will
門が開くん
open.
だ。
うん。
Yeah,
そしたら
and that
今の
means
こ
that
の
this
世界、
world, you,
父さん
Mom,
も母
Big
さん
Sis
も
Mayu and Big Sis
まゆ
Rumi,
姉さんも
and
ルミ
Uncle
姉さんも
Green.
お
None
か
of
り
this
のお
will
じさ
have
んも
ever happened.
うん。
Yeah,
今の私が
the me that's here right
今の
now
父さん
will
に
never
会った
have
こと
met
も
you.
なくなって
Hmm?
これって
Is this
告
the
白
scene where you
シーン
confess your love?
セーブ
Should I
して
save my
おくべきとこ
game?
うん
Thoughts. Seizaha said nothing and poked her dad's calf with her toes.
真面目な話
I'm
をして
being
るんだ。
serious.
今度ふ
One
ざ
more
けた
joke
ら
and I'll
蹴
kick
る
you.
よ。
迷ってるの
You're
か
not sure what to do?
ま
Well,
あ、そのなんだ
you know.
別
Is
に
it
い
really
いん
that
じゃ
big a
ね
deal?
え
Huh?
今が
Who
消え
cares
て
if
もい
this
いんじゃ
present
ね
disappears?
だって
I mean,
この先
a lot of people are
人
going
が
to die
大
after
勢死ぬ
this,
んだろ
right?
そ
I
ん
don't
な
want
の
that to
嫌じゃ
happen.
ん
父さん
Dad,
鈴葉はいろい
you're
ろと考
overthinking
えすぎ
things.
だ
You don't want a war, so you're going to change the
戦争なんて嫌だ。
world. Isn't it
だか
better
ら
when
世界を
it's
変えるん
simple
だ
like that?
そのくらい単純でいいと違うんつうかさ
And anyway,
僕
I didn't want to
戦
go
争
to
なんて
war.
行きたくない
I'm not
し
like you. I'm
鈴葉と違ってこん
well,
な
I'm
人間
me.
だから
So I wouldn't last
戦場
3
なんかに
days on the
連れて
battle
行かれ
on the
たら
battlefield.
3日も持たないね
だらしないな。
You're such a wimp.
幻
I'm
滅だよ。
disappointed. Suzaha sighed, turned around, and started to walk away.
あれどこ行
Huh?
くん
Where are you going?
顔
I'm
洗って
gonna
く
wash
る。
my face.
油
It's
でベタ
covered
ベ
in
タだ。
oil.
そのボルト閉めたら
Once you've tied in that bolt,
カバーも
close
閉
up
じて
the
おいてくれ
cover.
る？
I'm gonna take your
父さん
suggestion
の言
and
う
not
通
look
り、
for Kaguri
今日は
today.
かがりを探すのはやめておくよ。
お
Okay,
それ
well,
がい
that's
い
great.
よ
Let's go home
一緒に
together.
帰ろう
Yeah. Suzaha looked up at the moon, shining in the cloudy winter sky. She let out a puff of white breath. The white breath danced in the air for a moment, and then disappeared into the cold.
父さん、
Dad.
ん
Hmm.
幻滅とか
I was lying when I
嘘
said
だ
I
から。
was disappointed.
父さんは
You're not the
銃
kind
を
of
持って
person who
戦
takes a
争を
gun
する
into
人じゃな
battle.
い。
That's not who you
未
were
来で
in
も
the
そうだった
future. It was always your
いつも
job
い
to
つも
run away.
逃げ回るのが仕事。
いい
What?
未来の
Future me
僕
sounds like a
ダメ
loser.
人間すぎる
けど、
But
そ
that's
れでい
fine.
いんだ。
In the future,
父
you've
さ
got
んには
another battle to
別の
fight.
戦いがあるし、
And that's why we're all
そ
with
のため
you.
に私たちがついてるんだから。
鈴葉
Suzaha.
だから
So don't get any
父
weird
さんこそ
ideas,
変に
okay?
頑張ろうとしないで。日本は安
Give
全
up
だ
the
なんて
idea
思い
that
込みは
Japan
捨
is
てるこ
safe.
と。
Uncle Okurin was
この
just
前
attacked.
オカリンおじ
He
さん
could
だって
be
襲
attacked
われ
at
た
any
んだ。
moment too.
いつ父さんが標的になってもおかしくない。戦争前夜
And
な
the
んだ
war's
よ。
coming, and very
今はね。
soon. For about 2 weeks now, someone had been watching Suzaha on the time machine. It was clear that some great power was on the move.
大きいドキ
Okie dokie. Suzaha nodded, satisfied at Itaru's answer, and went to the bathroom to wash her face. Back to Okabe. The Upa has a Santa hat. The Upa has a Santa hat. Speaking of Upa, I actually got more wallpapers from the other endings, I just remembered. That's cute. The fairy Upa, Amadeus, all these geckos. I really like this one. But I also like the Santa, this Upa. I said Santa Upa because I saw your comment, Hifumi. I'm gonna change it to this one. Yeah. Little guys. But yes, Santa Upa. I love that so much. It's iconic. Anyways, the lab was filled with Santas, just like I'd heard on the phone. And all of them were wearing mini skirts. Ah, it's Okarin. It's here, Nya. Everything's ready. Hey there. Merry Christmas. Good evening, Okarin. Hi. Nyanta. Yes. Nyanta. The sight of so many girls in a small room like this, all wearing Santa miniskirts, threatened to overwhelm me. Luca. Why is he wearing all black, though? I was having trouble deciding where to look when Lukako staggered in front of me. Okabe. Lukako. What are you wearing, man? I didn't expect to have Santa in black. Wasn't he exposing an awful lot of skin? It was really erotic. Hello? But is a guy. Okabe. Lukako. I'm glad he survived. Luka giving Kuromi vibes. Yeah. That's it. It must have been hard being the only guy. I gave him a pat on the shoulder and he smiled, relieved. No. I wanted to wear a Santa outfit too. Okay. Next year I'll make one for you too. No. Really? Yep. Thanks, Pixis Mayuri. Okay, Okarin. Come in. Where are Daru and Suzuha? No word yet. The biggest goal today was to get Suzuha to participate. It was no exaggeration to say that that's why Mayuri had held this party. By the way, who are your guests? Oh yeah. I told them earlier that I was bringing Dr. Luxin and Maho. I brought the two of them inside. I'll introduce you. This is Dr. Luxin. Merry Christmas! What? Wow. Oh. Oh my. Did she say Ara? Anyways. He's big. Thank you, cute little lady. But Daddy's bigger. Yeah. And this is Maho Hiyasho. Hi, nice to meet you. What? Wow. Oh. Hana. Mahonyan, we meet again. Oh, it's the Nyan girl. Nyan girl, beautiful, accurate, so true. Are you in elementary school? Middle school? College? I'm actually a grown-up. Sorry. Maho's smile froze on her face. Mayuri, what do you think? They're both perfect. She's thinking of all kinds of ideas. Could you guys stop shipping them, please? Thank you. I should have gotten some smaller sizes ready. I could have worn one too. It's the biggest mistake in Mairi's life. Aww. I would have wanted to see the two of them as little Santas. Aww. Yeah. Mairi had her in her sights then. There's no escape from Maho now. Mairi was so stubborn, she even managed to convince the legendary shy Lukako. Legendarily shy. What about the professor?
あの身長
I've
に
never
合う
made
コ
an
スは
outfit for
作った
someone
こ
that
とない
tall.
よ。存在だけ
Just
で
having
すでに
him there
勝
would
ちだけ
guarantee
ど
a
ね。
win, though.
モフモフと仲
Maybe
良
a
さの
fluffy
着ぐる
reindeer
み
outfit
着てもらいたいか
with
も。
a red nose.
赤鼻もつけて。え、そ それは
Maybe.
どうかな。
Maybe not. Wait, were they seriously going to dress the professor up as a reindeer?
まゆり
Hey,
誰
Mighty,
も彼も
you shouldn't assume that
苦しみを理
everyone
解
will
してくれる
understand
と
your
は
cosplay
思わない方がい
hobby.
いぞ
Yes, reindeer like I would love that. He'd probably be down for it too, to be honest. Oh, that's right. It's not good to force people.
よくないよね。でも最近
But
は
lately, even
コンビニ
employees
な
at
んか
the
でも
convenience
クリ
stores
スマ
dress
ス
up
には
as a
店員
Santa
さ
for
んがサンタさんの
Christmas.
格好をしていますよ。
Looks in the red-nosed reindeer, so true.
コミマとクリスマスだと
Christmas and
性質は
Komima
だ
are
いぶ
two
違い
very
ますよ
different
ね。
things, aren't they? Or so you say. But basically, you want to dress the two of them up in Santa outfits, don't you?
というわけで
So, Maho, do you want Mayushi to lend you a Santa outfit?
よかったらマユシーのを貸しましょうか。
Mayu was already going after her. Maho refused as forcefully as she could, but Dr. Luxinen was surprisingly interested. He had been trying to put on a triangular paper party hat. No, I just got a message from Daru.
もうすぐ着く
He's almost here, and Susie's with
と一
him.
緒。
You can hear him yelling Subarashi in response to the reindeer suggested now. Yes, Subarashi! Mighty was looking at her smartphone. It looked like Daru had pulled it off. I guess he really was Suzuha's dad. This meant we succeeded in our biggest objective, which meant it was on to the next mission. We'd all decided that we were going to surprise Suzuha. Suzuha didn't know that we were all waiting for her. We each grabbed a noisemaker and got into position. Dr. Luxinen and Maho helped too. Maho seemed unsure, but Dr. Luxinen was more than willing to participate.
電気を消すにゃ。
I'm turning off the lights, Nya.
すずさん。
I wonder if Suzu will like it.
すずはさんのび
You
っく
never
りした
get
顔
to
なん
see
て
Suzuha
な
look
かなか見られない
surprised.
もんね。でも実は
But she actually really likes
とっても甘い
sweets,
もの好きなの
Nya.
にゃ。それに
And
とて
she's
も
really
親切なんで
nice.
すよ。この
When I said hi a little while
前
ago, she
返
said
し
hi
てくれ
back.
たよ。へえ。
Yeah,
私
I
も
wish I could get
も
along
っと
with
す
her
ずはさんと
too.
仲良くできたらいいな。なれるよ。
You will. It'll be
きっと大
fine.
丈夫。
You two are
相
perfect
性
for
は
each
ぴったり
other.
だよ。
Hmm. And then we heard that. Blah, 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 blah. So some shit's gonna go down during this party too, right? Not necessarily. And then we heard Daddy's voice from outside the window, in the alley below the building. Okay, I'm going inside. I'm going inside with Suzuha. So I was like, why are you announcing this? His voice was loud and unnaturally expository. Once he got below the lab, he was supposed to give a signal. Everything was going as planned. We all went shh at each other in the darkness. I could hear 2 sets of footsteps coming up the stairs. Everyone held their breath and waited. The timing was critical. But would she be able to figure it out before we acted? The room was filled with different smells, like the girl's perfume and the aroma of the food they'd made. Didn't Suzuha always notice these things more quickly than an ordinary person would? I started to get worried. And then I heard the sound of the front door opening.
あれ、今日は誰も来てないんだね。
Nobody's here today, then.
そ
Well, some days are like that. Daughter, you idiot. Your voice is shaking. I got even more nervous. Was it time yet? Where was the signal? I felt like my hands were going to slip and trigger the noisemaker too early. My palms were soaked with sweat. I could tell Suzuha was taking off her shoes. Nya. Ferris gave the signal. The second the lights went on, we all activated our noisemakers. I could see Suzuha flinch for just an instant, but I couldn't follow what happened after that. That's how fast she was. She dropped down, sprung off the floor, and leapt towards Yuki, who happened to be standing in front of her. She might have broken Yuki's jaw with the base of her palm before she could shout at her to stop. Fortunately, Yuki had been surprised by Suzuha's sudden charge, and had slipped when she tried to step back. Because of this, Suzuha's palm barely missed Yuki's nose as she sliced through the air. Stop it, Suzuha! By the time I'd finally shouted, it was all over. Suzuha grabbed Yuki before she fell down and was holding her up. Yuki, Suzuha, and all the rest of us were too stunned to speak. Now that you think about it, it's surprising that a PTSD-ridden vet that carries a good idea. No. That was close. If the timing of events had been ever slightly different, Yuki could have been badly hurt. Stop, nya. Merry Christmas. Mayuri. Everyone finally realized what had happened and began to panic. Yuki simply laid in Suzuha's arms, blinking her eyes. What are you doing? The second time he mentioned noisemakers, I was like, oh, wait, will Suzuha react badly? The answer is yes. Yeah, I thought that immediately. But this is a cute CG, so, you know, there's that. Fucking, their daughters embarrasses faces. It's so funny. This is a great CG, though. 10 out of 10. I love this CG. Very good. Suzuha seemed to snap back to reality. She was looking around at everyone. I said Merry Christmas, Suzu. Merry Christmas. Yeah. Wow, that scared me. Those were amazing moves. It was too fast for me to follow. Yuki, are you okay? Suzuha was looking around the room. Did she still not understand what was going on? Did she not realize it was a party since she'd never been to one before? The walls and ceiling were covered in wreaths and ribbons. There was a folding table filled with food, cakes, snacks, and drinks. A party? I'm sorry. It was my idea to make it a surprise. I see. Yuki backed away from Suzuha and started to bow apologetically. Suzuha, this is, we wanted to make it a surprise. We didn't mean to scare you. Suzuha? Brother, did you know about this? Yeah. I see. That's why you're acting kind of weird today. I'm sorry, Suzu. It was Mayushi who planned it all. So don't get mad at Yuki or Daru. Get mad at Mayushi. Who could get mad at Mayushi? Come on. Oh, come on, big sis Mayu. Do I always get mad like that? Suzuha looked around the room again. Well, it's hard to believe this is the same lab. Right? We all decorated it together. Yeah, it's really amazing. It's pretty. Suzuha laughed half-heartedly and began backing toward the door. What was that? What was that? I heard a sound. Oh, there it is. There's the chat catching up. Thank you so much for the follow, Geizu Lupin. I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying stream so far. With the silliness of Steins Gate. Yes. Yes, new follower. But, where are you going? Huh? Where? You guys are having a party, right? I don't want to get in the way. Come on, brother. You know I don't belong in a place like this. Suzuha. That's not you, Nyan. Let's all have a party together, Nyan. Huh? but I've never done this
私
stuff
こういうの
before.
したことないし。楽しくご飯
You
食べ
just
た
have
り
fun and eat
おしゃ
food
べ
and
りした
talk,
りする
so
だけだよ。
come on, okay? Mayuri grabbed Suzuha's hand tightly to keep her from getting away. But
まゆ
Big
姉さ
sis
ん
Mayuri, yeah.
ほら
Come on,
鈴葉の
we've got a
席
seat
も
for you
ちゃ
too,
んと用
Suzuha.
意できてるのだぜ。
けど
But
本当に
I
どう
really
したら
don't
いい
know
の
what to
か
do.
私
いいから
Just sit down,
座
okay?
れっつうの。
Suzuha.
うん
Mayuri half dragged Suzuha over to the seat next to me and forced her to sit down. Okay, every kitty. Every kitty. Hello? Okay, every kitty. The gang's all here now, nya. Round of applause, everyone. Everybody started to applaud at Fubuki's signal. The other played some Christmas carols on the computer. Minya-san, yes. The grim atmosphere that had begun to fill the room was banished. I felt a little relieved.
それじゃあ
Okay,
まず
let's start with a
乾杯を
toast,
するな
Nya. Pour your favorite drink into your glass, Nya. Everybody started to look at the various drinks on the table.
ほら
Here, Suzuha. Suzuha still looked like she was feeling as though she didn't belong, so I poured her some non-alcoholic champagne. Oh,
うん
yeah.
やっぱり私
I
無
really
理だよ
don't think I can do
こういうの
this.
なんで
Why?
だって
Because
遊ぶた
I
めに
didn't
この
come to
時
this
代へ
era
来た
to
わけじゃ
play.
ない
The reason she came to this era, huh? I didn't have the right to say anything about that. It was the only reason that she was stuck here, unable to fulfill her task. But even so,
たまには
is it so bad to do this once in a while?
でも
But,
鈴葉は
Suzuha,
考えす
you
ぎ
think
だっつ
too
うの。
much. Daddy joined the conversation.
みんなとご飯
All you're
食べ
doing
る
is
だけ
having a
だ。
meal with everyone.
どの
You're hungry
道
either
お腹は
way,
空いてる
right?
っしょ。
それは
Well, maybe Daru's statement caused her to realize it, because her stomach rumbled.
うん
ほれ見ろ。
See?
みんながいろいろ作って
Everybody
くれ
made
た
a
ん
lot
だ
of
から
food for you.
あり
So
がた
just say
くいた
thanks
だ
and
け
eat
ばいい
it.
んだって
Everybody, you all got your drinks ready, Nya. Alright, let's have a word from Mayushi, who put this party together, Nya. Huh? Huh? Mayuri stood up, flustered. As she stood, she bumped into Lukako, who was standing next to her. The two of them almost spilled their drinks. Oh no. Sorry, Luka.
まゆりちゃん
Mayuri,
落ち着いて
calm down. Okay. Mayuri started to take deep breaths. It's Christmas Eve today.
クリスマスイブなのですどこもリア充
There's normies out everywhere today. But this year, let's have a party and be normies
パーティーを
ourselves.
してリア充
Why are you saying this, normies?
あいやそれリア充の意味が違うと思うな
No,
マユシ
I don't think that's what normal means, Ayushi. Fubuki whispered, a little sad.
ふぶきちゃん何人もの後輩ちゃんからクリスマス
A
デー
bunch
ト
of
に誘
people
わ
asked
れたの
Fubuki
よ
out on
ね
Christmas dates.
それは
You should have seen them
も
all.
う熱烈に
Oh wow.
全員
And they were all
女の
younger
子の後輩だ
girls
けどね
though. Oh. I mean, come on. Are they not your type? Anyway, if everybody has a good time, Mayushi will be happy.
マユシは嬉しいな終わりです
That's all. Mayuri gave a little bow and smiled to Suzuha. Suzuha answered with an expression that wasn't quite a smile.
それじゃあ乾杯
Okay, everybody. Cheers, Nya. Maho,
よ
Nya.
ろしくにゃ
You give the toast.
え
What? Me?
私せっかく来
You
てくれ
came all the way
た
out
んだから
here, so why not give a
自己紹
toast and
介も
introduce
兼ねて
yourself?
よろしくにゃ
Maho stood up with a slight frown and thought for a moment before she opened her mouth.
今日は
Thank you all for having me today. Dr. Luxinen and I are from America, so we never spent Christmas in Japan before. And I'm finding out that spending a cheerful Christmas with friends is also a great... Yes, Yoroshiku-nya. Say something interesting, nya. Huh? Something interesting, nya. What? Ferris, you're crazy. Uh-oh. She was totally losing it. She was worse than Mayuri had been a moment ago. It was hard to believe I'd seen her interpreting in front of the huge crowd at ATF. Was she bad at ad-libbing? Yeah. Please. What is the button for that? Play the voice. No. I want to replay. Wait, I need to click. Here. Now. Now I can replay it. She just straight up meowed. That is indeed very interesting. Yeah, I did have to go past it. Yep. I love this. Anyways, I'm gonna stop doing that. You got back and heard a meow. Yeah. Maho was told to say something interesting, so she just meowed. She does sound more like a cat than Ferris, yes. Maho's desperate attempt at something interesting was cute, but honestly a little embarrassing. It felt like watching a small adorable animal. Oh, Maho-nyan! You got what it takes to be a cat-eared maid. Yep, this is the birth of Maho-nyan-nyan. Ferris and Mayuri were the only ones who seemed really impressed. But what am I doing? A great question. Hiyajo, that toast. Right, I'll do that. Okay, then... Cheers! Cheers! Kanpai. Everybody happily clinked their glasses together. Since I was the one who invited Maho to the party, I decided to cheer her up. That was an interesting toast. I hate myself. What are you talking about? You were a cool cat! Luxinen, please. Maho-nyan, when are you starting on May Queen? I'm not okay. Ferris and Dr. Luxinen were both enjoying trying to make her feel better. Suzu, let's have a toast. Me too, Suzu-huh? Oh, yeah. Yes, a cool cat. Yes, Luxinen is very supportive. I love him. Suzu-ha still had a somber look on her face, but Mayuri, Yuki, and Daru forced her into a toast. Here, Suzu. Mayushi made this. Mayuri put a piece of quiche on a plate and gave it to Suzu-ha. I want a quiche. Anyway, when Suzu-ha took a bite, her expression began to shine. It's good. Really? Yeah. Eat more. Eat a lot. I can't eat it all at once. Oh, yeah? Next, Mayuri offered the quiche to Maho and the professor. Maho and Dr. Luxinen, try some too. Thanks. It's good. This is really good. Oshi does now. Okay, try this too. It's shrimp gratin and ethnic style fried chicken. Excellent. You really put a lot of effort into this. Nikki went around and offered everyone something to eat. But she couldn't bring herself to offer any to Suzuha. No! Mayuri kept motioning for her to go over, but Yuki just kept fidgeting. Maybe she was thinking about it too much. But Suzuha kept devouring all the food that Mayuri and Yuki had prepared and gushing over each dish. No. Ralph says quiches, but at the same time I'm not sure we can afford going to Ralph's for the billionth time. I mean, I don't know the balance that we have on our EBT card since you're the last person to make a purchase. But probably not. The two of them have been practicing their cooking for about a month here in the lab. I guess it paid off. Oh, there's cake too. Kaede did the decorations. I didn't do a very good job, so forgive me. Kaede is really kind of clumsy, but doesn't that just make her cuter? That really doesn't feel like a compliment. Everyone laughed. Then, about an hour after we started eating, when we saw that everyone had eaten enough food, Virus clapped her hands together loudly to draw everyone's attention. Okay, every kitty. Now that we're all having fun, I'd like to start exchanging presents, Nya. Mayuri said moe. We don't have any time to get something good. I hope that's okay. Maho and the professor had stopped at the Don Quixote. Oh, I know what that's a reference to. Don Quixote. Like, it's a convenience store common in Japan. I only know this because of Yakuza. On their way from Mako City, and spent just 10 minutes picking up presents. Don't worry, that's fine, yeah. I didn't bring anything. Mayushi and I brought yours. Oh my. Mayushi was the one who chose it. I see. Sorry. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Mayuri mimicked Daru's words as she pulled out 2 small wrapped parcels from her bag and put them on the table. They both have the same wrapping as the one Daru was holding. They must have bought them at the same place. Mari had already explained to me Operation Number 2. Mari's plan for the evening was not only to make Suzuha smile, but to bring Yuki and Daru a little closer together. No. I thought of a lot of different ways to decide who gets what presents, but in the end I decided we're just going to draw numbers, nya? Ferris gathered together everyone's presents and put little stickers with numbers on them. Nya nya nya. That's cute. And then she lifted a bunch of disposable chopsticks up above her head. Sorry, I have to listen to the... Yes, okay, very good. Mayushi brought these so we could play the King's game tonight, yeah? What? Don't say that, Ferris. Hey, Mayuri. The King's game is something you play at singles parties. I know that. I just got a little confused. Well, I love it when girls order me to do things. Oh dear. Hashida, you really are a pervert. So we're going to use these chopsticks that Mayushi was a little confused about, and use them to pick presents, Nia. Whatever number's on the chopstick you draw, that's the present you get, Nyan. Ferris sadly shuffled all the chopsticks, and then went around to everyone so they could draw one. She was also part of Mayuri's plan. In fact, Mayuri and Ferris were sending signals to each other with eye contact and with their fingers. While everyone was focusing on the chopsticks, they were busy relabeling Yuki and Daru's presents. They were so obvious about it that I started getting nervous that Yuki would find out. Everybody get a chopstick, Nia? Okay, I'll handle the presents. No opening your present till everyone's got theirs. This is really exciting, isn't it? I wonder what I'm going to get. Ferris and Mayuri passed out the presents according to the numbers that everyone drew. Once the presents were handed out, everyone started to take off the wrapping paper. What? Naya was the first to react as she gave out a very strange cry. Inside her box was a skull face. Hello? No, isn't that cool? Luca, please. It's a belt buckle, Naya. If you wear it to school, I'm sure it'll make you very popular. I'm not sure it necessarily will, Luca, but you know what? You're trying your best. Thank you. Look at Ko. You terrified her. Welcome back, Mars. I hope you're having fun looking at those photos. I was feeling bad for Naya, but when I took out my own present... Look, whose idea was this? The box had a cute design, and inside it was what looked like a see-through white veil. The veil was decorated here and there with little pink ribbons. Hello? This can't be a... Oh, he got it, Okarin. You can give it to Mayushi as a present. Hello? No way. I'm sure she'd be happy to wear it for you. Why are we talking about this? What's this about me? Mari heard her own name and came over. What's that, I wonder? It's baby doll lingerie, Mayushi. And a super cute and sexy one. You can wear it for Okarin, okay? Please. Understandable, Mayuri. You know that's not happening. Then why don't you wear it yourself? Please. It probably... If it can fit Mayuri, it's not gonna fit him at first of all. I'm giving this back. You can enjoy it yourself. I pushed the baby doll lingerie back into Fubuki's hands. Okay, I'll exchange it for what I got. Fubuki handed me her present in exchange. The wrapping and lid had already been removed. I took a quick look inside. Sexy pink shorts and a pink bra. Yep, they were see-through. Oh, that was the present I brought. There's a literal child. It's a good thing the literal child got Luca's present. Jesus. I'd love it if you had Mayuri wear it. Enjoy. Please. Understandable, Mayuri. Is that all you people think about? Mayushi's already got a present from Okarin, so I'm okay. Mayuri had drawn my present, perhaps because you were childhood friends. By the way, I chosen a huge chunk of chocolate in the shape of a gold bar. The kind of thing you'd find in a Don Quixote bargain bin. Okarin, was there really nothing else you could have gotten? Shut up. I read in a magazine that these things make hilarious party gifts. No, there's no way anybody would want to get this. No, none. Not a chance. What? Not even a chance? The magazine said it was a sure thing. Mayushi's happy. It's a gold bar. I'm never going to get it. Gonna get touch another one in my whole life. Sweetie. No, you're such a good girl, Mayushi. You really are a good girl. There. Fubuki and Kaede were patting Mayuri's head, half out of sympathy and half because she was cute. Somehow, I ended up as the bad guy. Okay, now it's my turn to open. Yuki started to open her present. Wow. She took out a cute wooden music box. When she opened the lid, there was a little tin figure that danced. No. Wow, it's so cute. It's wonderful. So romantic. That's so nice. The girls all seemed really impressed. But Lukako is a guy. It definitely looked like something a woman would enjoy receiving. With as many girls as there were coming to this party, it might have been the perfect choice. Wait, maybe I should have brought something like that. But then I realized that the idea had never even occurred to me. Hang on. Your butt changing. There you go. Whose present could this be, Nya? Ferris, you're making it too obvious. Oh, me. Daughter reluctantly raised his hand. Huh? What? Oh my. Uncle Daru, you're amazing. Nice, brother. Everyone, except Mayuri and Ferris, who knew about it in advance, raised their voices in surprise. This is from you, then? Hashira? What do you think? Mayushi was the one who told me to get it. Hello? You shouldn't say that. It's wonderful. Thank you. I'll treasure this. Nikki held the music box close to her chest. She seemed really happy. Question mark? And then her expression turned confused when she looked into the box. Then she started to fidget. Excuse me, I need a second. She hurried off to the washroom, still holding the box. She must have seen the trick. According to what Mayuri had told me earlier, there was a fake letter from Daru himself taped to the bottom of the box. Oh. It was something like a love letter along with an invitation to a movie date. I wondered how she was reacting. Meanwhile, Daru had also opened his own present, and he looked a little bothered. He'd been given Ferris his present. Oh no! Until he'd opened it, he looked really happy, but now he'd gone completely silent. According to Mayuri, he was going to get a pair of movie tickets. And even though it was a present from Ferris, the tickets came with instructions to use them for a date with Yuki. Ferris responded to Daru's question and gazed with a wink. Good luck, Nya, she seemed to be saying. For her part, Ferris received some kind of strange doll that Maho bought at the Don Quixote. Lukika's present was a miniature remote-controlled helicopter that Dr. Luxinen had purchased. Nice. And Dr. Luxinen got a set of 12 cute little crayons for Nae. Aww. Suzuha's present was a pair of handmade gloves. Nikki had evidently made them for herself. Aww. She put them on, looking happy, but maybe a little lonely, and smiled. That's great, Suzuha. Yeah. Wait, what did you get, brother? This. Daru realized he had been set up, and he was clearly avoiding looking at her. Suzuha seemed to understand, and patted him on the back, with a gentle expression on her face. What's wrong with that? Go have a good time. What? What? It's due, Suzuha? Well, it's frustrating watching you two. But I've never been on a real date. Time to become a normie, Itaru. Neither has mom, supposedly. What? Really? Yeah. I see. Yuki came back from the bathroom. She seemed to be having trouble walking straight. She sat back in her seat, but began to nervously nibble on snacks at the table. And once in a while, she would take a look at Daru. For now, the movie ticket plan seemed to be going well. Staring too much could tip her off. I should probably pretend I didn't know anything. Oh, Maho got the music box Mayushi brought. Mayuri raised her voice when she saw the music box in Maho's hands. It was shaped like a deformed bear, and when you would wound it up, its hands and legs would jerk back and forth as it played it too. It was a very different design than the one Yuki had received. Is it really okay for me to get something as nice as this? Sure it is. Go ahead, go ahead. What kind of music does it play? I want to hear. Yeah, me too. Maho started to wind it up. As she wound it up, Kaede turned off the music in the background.
じゃあ
Here we go. Maho took her hand off the winding key, and the mechanical yet gentle sound that was unique to music boxes began to play. This is that song from the Kagari ending. Did they get like custom music for the music box or something? What is going on? I am so confused. Cause like when Suzuha questioned Yuki about the song earlier because she was humming it in the shower, she said it was like from a show or something. Like it was different than what it was for the Kagri ending. I'm so fucking confused. Steins Gate, what the fuck is happening? The lively atmosphere of the lab was replaced with a feeling of calmness and peace. We listened quietly to the sound of the music box.
怪しいね
Mayashi really likes this song.
僕もです
So do I. Does everyone know the song?
ポカポカした気持ち
It makes you feel warm, right? The song is the most mysterious thing in Steins Gate. Yeah. Yeah,
そう
it
ね
does.
あ
Oh,
そうか
I see.
この
This
曲
is
だ
the song. Suzuha stood up, as if she suddenly remembered something.
ゆきさん
Yuki,
ほら
don't
覚え
you
てない
remember? Huh? What? Yuki was spacing out so hard that she started to panic when Suzuha spoke to her.
私が寝込んでた
When
時
I was sick, you
ゆ
sang
き
this
さん
song
が
for
こ
me
こで歌
here.
ってたよねああ
Oh,
そうい
got to
えば
think of it.
うん
Yeah,
確かに
it's
この曲
definitely
だよ
this song. Suzuha seemed to be remembering something as her eyes narrowed.
ねえまゆ姉
Hey,
さん
Big Sis Mayu, what song is this? This is... Mayuri's about to speak, and then... Out of nowhere. Why? We were about to find out! The world twisted. I moaned in pain as an incredible sense of wrongness flooded through me. The whole lab seemed to twist and fade. We're not allowed to be happy in Steins Gate. And the happy party I'd been experiencing warped and waved like a mirage. Welcome to Steins Gate, Mars. This is normal, unfortunately. It couldn't be. No. Somewhere far away, I heard something that sounded like a violent crash. I was just barely able to move my eyes in the direction it came from, and I saw Fubuki falling into the floor as she knocked over a table. Falling to the floor, not into the floor. Were there weed brownies? This is not... Oh dear. You hate it. That's fair. Kaede and Ferris ran over to her, calling her name. But it all looked so blurred. Like I was watching a movie underwater, and everything was moving so slow. Their voices were getting further and further away. No matter how much I stretched out my hand, it reached no one and touched nothing. It was a terrible feeling, as if time and space were being torn apart, and even matter itself was losing its subjectivity. This feeling. Even if I didn't want to remember it, I knew what this awful feeling was. I knew it far better than I had ever wanted. This was reading Steiner. How's it changing? 1.38. And Pandora's Box. That is the next chapter. Ooh. Okay. There's the quick save. So I'm gonna do a normal save real quick too, though. But that was that chapter. I love when my chapters end like that. Let me get back to OBS. Here you go. That's the end of that chapter. Why can't they be happy? I wish I knew. I wish I knew. Okay, I'm just gonna stop the YouTube recording. Bye bye YouTube for this video.